Oh, I forgot the cool countdown thingy. Oh, I totally have to do that. I mean, that is just like high class. We are so doing that in 3, 2. I'd like to thank the Johnson Mortuary for that music during that countdown. Greetings, aloha, what's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I hope you're great. I hope you're friggin' amazing. Hello, Joe. And Joe says hello to Gracie as well. I just gave her the 2. Say, yo, victory. How you doing over there? In this order, Joe. Hello, Gracie. Hello, Mikes. Hey, man. How you doing? Good to see you. I wanted to do this. So yesterday, if you watched, thank you. Additionally, if you watched, then potentially you heard me talk about possibly doing talk about actually doing a live stream today. This morning at 8:00 my time. Shortly after that, I had a discussion via WhatsApp with a buddy of mine back home, meaning the U.S., California. And I hadn't talked to him in like 3.5 weeks. And I looked down, and I had been kind of pinging him for the last several days. And I thought, he's not available. What's going on? So then finally got back to me, and I know he's busy and he's tired. And when he gets done from work, he's like tired and he comes home, right? So we finally connected. The time we were going to connect is 8 a.m. this morning, Bangkok time, which is when I had scheduled my live stream. So Joe, thank you so much for reaching out to me and asking me about that. Patrick, good to see you. Thank you for coming by, sir. Appreciate it. And thank you for saying hello to everyone else in the chat. The Johnson Mortuary was like providing that deeply emotional music, and I really appreciate that. Talk about a random. I clicked on that, and I'm like, not exactly what I was hoping for. Stab them and slab them, right? There you go. Sounds good. So currently, today I have, and I assume you mean years sober. Thank you, because you guys are my buddies, and we hang out here at the Cool Kids table, where at least I'm the sober one. I'm the designated driver for all of you guys. How's that? So anyway, so as of today, I have 28 years, 363 days. Saturday in Bangkok, 6 p.m. Friday, the 28th of May in Southern California is when I went to my first meeting. And that is the day that changed my life for the better. Yeah. My appendicitis, man, that day changed my life. Yeah, but not for the better. So anyway, I'm having gratitude attacks this year because, of course, 29 years ago today, I had not been sober for 3 straight years. And so therefore, as I reflect back on where I was last year, let alone where I was 29 years ago, when my party was crawling around on the ground naked, sweating, talking to bugs, and I weighed 130 pounds, that was about as good as it got for me. And I was spending approximately $1,500 a week on cocaine. And I don't do that now. And there was no YouTube at the time, so I couldn't make a YouTube video about cost of living on cocaine in Southern California. Which, of course, you probably would do that now because, of course, as a Thai vlogger, I have to make videos about how much it costs me every single month to do what I do. And so back then, clearly, I would have been so upfront and forthcoming about how much I was spending on ruining my life and committing suicide on the installment plan, but no longer. Anyway, so that's Saturday, and I'll do a little thing in the morning. For about an hour, simply because pretty much all of my other sort of cronies, my buddies, my colleagues, my acquaintances, and really good friends as well They all seem to go live Saturday at 9 a.m. So I'll go. And the good news is that I can go live at the time that I entered my change of life, and we can talk about that. But for this morning, and good morning to you as well, Mariano. I'm really glad you're here. And also, yeah, Todd, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Just sent a message. I apologize. I didn't realize you were. Oh, hey, dude, you don't need to apologize for reaching out to me. That's okay, cool. We'll talk. Let me know if you would like to discuss, not obviously the specifics of this, but I can discuss this in general as it may be of interest to others. So you let me know. How's that? Also, hello to Joe. You're so great. You're so great, dude. You say hi to everybody, and you also paid for Gracie and I to have chicken and cucumbers last night for dinner. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Saturday. Saturday will be. So Saturday here is May 29th, and May 28th is my sobriety date, my clean date. And so a gratitude attack, how that manifests in my life is traditionally tears of joy. And it's really cool doing it now and doing it with you guys and doing it in the way I'm doing it right now for a couple of reasons. What just flashed on me is the fact that if you don't know, I've turned off monetization on my channel, which sadly doesn't mean that you guys won't get ads. It's just that I won't get any revenue from them, and I don't care because I tried that. I tried keywords. I tried making it so, ads will show up and I'll get, some money, and, it's only $50 here, $50 there, but it'll be kind of neat. And at the end of the day, I got my W-2 or 1099 or whatever the thing is that they say. I think it's like a G something. And it was like $750. And my tax guy was like, I know it's more of a pain in the ass, isn't it, to deal with this? Then I said, okay, done. That's not happening anymore. But you can still buy me a smoothie, actually. No, I'm just kidding. The point is that I believe that, I've removed any degree of sort of objectionable behavior or scenario within this YouTube channel, certainly, that would make people be like, oh, he's just crying on camera for the attention. And no, that's not it. I do this specifically when this occurs in my life because there is the slightest possibility that one of you might be considering not drinking or using, which of course I will literally drop everything except my parents or Gracie and help you if I possibly can. Secondly, the only way I get to keep this is to give it away, is a very common phrase in my community that I believe wholeheartedly. And the only reason I get to be this successful and to have this much gratitude is because of guys like you that swing by the Cool Kids table and make it truly what it is, the Cool Kids table. So that's coming up on May 28th, basically. But the day that I walked into where I walked into in San Diego and gave up and got so much more back is that day. And so anyway, so I have these gratitude attacks around this time of year because I look back on like where I was last year, where I was 10 years ago, where I was 20 years ago, actually, which is interesting. I will share a little bit about that probably on Saturday. And where I was 29 years ago, which was thin. And it wasn't a goal necessarily. It was just the result. So anyway, congrats, dude. That's awesome. I honor you in a huge way. And the solution that many people take for that is not necessarily the one that's for me or that's for you. The one that I took is traditionally what a lot of you will potentially hear, certainly in the movies, is labeled as a 12-step solution. It is a program that apparently everybody knows about, yet the second name in its two-word identity is anonymous. But if you don't know what that means, that simply means that I don't sort of stand here as a spokesperson for that program, for that solution publicly, because then if I were to, or even if I stay sober, but I do something that you would label as inappropriate, you could potentially blame the program for that. Or if I get drunk, which unfortunately is a lot of people's stories, they get sober for X amount of time, they relapse, they come back in, they relapse, they friggin' die. or they end up in jail, and it's like, oh yeah, that program doesn't work. And so I'm not here to promote any sort of solution, but I will just tell you that the solution that all of the other guys in that organization, they convinced me it would work. I have no idea if it'll work for any of you, but you guys convinced me it'd work. And I came in and I sat down and I have a life today that is beyond my wildest dreams. So there's that part. But then the other reason why this scheduled effectively live stream is, yeah, thank you, Todd. And here's the neat thing. I know what you mean by that, but I will tell you guys that the neat thing about it is not a fight. I go to meetings, and that's, whatever you want to interpret that as. Anyway, I go to these meetings. And, not everybody got sober on the day I did. Some people got sober before. Some people got sober after. Some people are getting sober right now. And there was a guy that had 6 days recently. And, I shared with this guy because he's like, one of the things that you sort of do, I don't know, maybe if let's say you're in a Bitcoin group or whatever, you would probably say, well, how much Bitcoin do you have? How much? And one of the things that you do traditionally in these groups where you basically have a certain amount of clean time, a certain amount of sobriety, is occasionally you'd be like, well, how much time do you have? How long have you been in the program? How long have you been doing this? Kind of like, the standard pickup line, hey, baby, how often do you come here? So we basically do that. And so a lot of times, I will share, and we usually share about like what's going on, what our solution is for that day, what our challenge is for that day, how the hell am I going to stay sober for another 24 hours? Because that seems incredibly impossible for me until I showed up at this silly group and sat in a circle and talked about my feelings. And you guys telling me that's going to keep me from drinking. You're delusional. There's no way it's going to work. And then all of a sudden, here you go. Anyway, so one of the guys, he said, how much time do you have, right? And I said, well, I have 28. And he's got 6 days, right? And so he's just like, oh my God, 28 days. He goes, I don't think I've ever stayed sober a month. And I'm like, no, years. It's not days. And he just, and I did the exact same thing when I had 6 days. And some guy had like 10, 15, 20. He had one or more, like over a year. I said, I just looked at him. I said, for sure, if you're lying. Why in the world would you stay sober through July 4th, you jackass? And anyway, so I did this. I'm not saying he did this, but there's a tendency to occasionally put people that have more time than you on a pedestal of some kind, and they just seem out of reach. And so when you have 6 days of not drinking, and like 7 days ago you were completely wasted, like crawling around on the ground, naked, sweating, talking to bugs, potentially, if you're as bad as me, then a guy who's got 28 years is just, that's ridiculous. That's like being 14 years old and a guy who is 170 comes up and says, well, you know what? Let me give you some advice, kid. What the fuck? What are you talking about? So it seems completely obtuse. It's completely out of reach. It just can't happen. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, the amount of courage that you've had to show in the last 6 days eclipses any behavior I've done in the last 60 months. Because to change your life from I drink all day, every day, no matter what happens. I drink if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm in a good mood, if it's a Saturday, if it's raining, if it's sunny, if I'm bankrupt, if I just won the lottery, if I'm married, if I'm getting divorced, if I'm having a baby, if my mom is dying, if my mom is incredibly healthy and just won the Boston Marathon, I'm drinking, I'm using, I'm anesthetizing my feelings because that's what I do. And you haven't done that for 6 days in a row. What lottery did you just win, dude? And anyway, so there's a delta in behavior, right? And so now I fall out of bed sober, basically. There are certain behaviors that I engage in that I believe allowed me to be successful for one more 24 hours, as Todd is talking about, just one day at a time, and it truly is that. But as part of that, thank you, Pascal. There are things that occur in my life as the days go by, and I have acquaintances, and I have many acquaintances, and I have friendships, true friendships, guys that will save my ass before they will save my face, and they will do anything. And I have a guy like that in my life that I've known for 29 years. He's been in this solution longer than I. He's got like 33, 34, 37 years. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. The point is that we've known each other for as long as I showed up. And he is going through an imperfect time right now. And one could argue it is sort of the effects of COVID, and it has really nothing to do with his medical condition. It's the surroundings. He lives in an area that is very expensive to live in. And he is working in a job that, he like kind of begged to get. He's not making a ton of money. He is surviving. He is truly surviving. So for all of you guys that were ever to watch a YouTube video about a vlogger that's over here and says you can live in Thailand for $1,000, I invite you to then equally search in YouTube for minimum amount of money I need to live in a truck flatbed in Barstow, California. And that is pretty much the delta as far as I'm concerned. Now, that said, Gracie and I have an amazing life, just so you know, in Thailand for about $2,000 a month, which to have an amazing life for $2,000 a month, we have a word for that in Southern California. It's called free. Okay. So we're living the dream, and I don't consider the amount of cash that I have in my pocket or in my bank account or in Gracie's purse. That doesn't define how much of an awesome life we have. My point is that it is not a distraction to have to worry about bills or the cost of this microphone, which, of course, obviously listening to it, you're like, $1,800, Mike, really? Because, I've heard you before singing in the shower, for God's sake, and you're a soprano? No. So why did I have a gratitude attack today? Because I was talking to this guy who I've known for a long time, who has had times of being wildly successful in his life. And then I will get to your comments, I promise. And yeah, $1,500 a week, how long I could live in Thailand for? Yeah, well, trust me. And here's the thing too, is when you're 23 years old, $1,500 a week is a lot. My rent at the time, to give you an idea of how long ago this was, I lived a block and a half from the beach in Southern California, in Pacific Beach, California, if you specifically know where that is, in San Diego. And my rent was $475 a month. Okay. So, while ago, and obviously 29 years ago. And so to spend, 3 times my rent per week. Yeah. It was a horrible life, and I hated myself. I hated every single moment that I was alive, and I couldn't ingest enough to kill myself. So I woke up after 3 days of using continuously. Came to at 1:30 in the afternoon after 3 days of again trying to kill myself on the installment plan. Woke up at 1:30 in that afternoon, and I woke up, I said, crap, looked in the mirror, and I'm like, God damn it, I can't even do this right. I mean, my goal was to not wake up at 24. Okay. So my goal when I was 22, 23, 24 was to simply drink and use drugs until I died. And I figured, okay, well, if I can make it till 30, like that would be, and I know looking at me, you're like, well, Mike, obviously you made it to 31. Congratulations. But no, it turns out I'm older than I'm 53. And I have this friend who is a little older than I am. And it seems like just sort of one piece of bad luck after another, in the sense that he's not living the dream. He's surviving. And after he told me about a few of the sort of trials and tribulations that he's going through, I started crying out of gratitude. And I came out, I just said, Gracie, I said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being in my life. And anyway, so that was a little bit of a gratitude and attack. And I thought, I just can't hold on. What am I going to just hold on to this? And so I figured I'd share it to some degree with you guys, as well as trying to answer your questions, even though, as you know, I'm always very behind on my questions. But it was a cocaine. Yeah, it was, I suppose. Put my question in the live stream. Oh, okay, great. I will. Lived in Cali, Colombia for 3 years in the late 80s, and so glad I never got into the drug business or taking it. I would submit you wouldn't. I didn't get a lot from Colombia. We kept Peruvian families well clothed for about anyway. All those movies that romanticize the trafficking of planefuls of cocaine and bags full of money. It wasn't like that. um, it was just slightly more terrifying. Let's just say. You buy me and Gracie smoothies when I meet you. I am honored. I'm looking forward to it, buddy. Definitely looking forward to it. 32 years ago, I was sitting at the border about this time of year, waiting to get let go into Detroit because of the misidentification, just to miss my flight home and wait 2 days in the airport. So, yeah, I heard a very interesting story, right? About how someone was trying to cross back into the United States over the Canadian border, and they mistaken him for a woman, a man who was mistaken for a woman who was a foot shorter than he is, and about 100 pounds heavier than he was. But because he was an American and has similar name as this lady, they held him at the border for 2 hours. And he mentioned that the final thing that he heard is someone like down the hallway saying, "What the hell is your problem? Listen to me. You're holding an American who is not female, not overweight, and not a foot shorter. You're an idiot. Let him go." And so I can understand why crossing the border in or out of Canada is not something that you relish. Interesting story. Were there any significant challenges during the last 28 years and 363 days? Or was your rock bottom enough to keep you going? So I'll get into that a little bit more on Saturday. And if you've heard my story, then you know a little bit of the answer to that, Patrick. But the short answer is just because I got sober and didn't drink and didn't use and tried to take the best care of myself I could, doesn't mean that I didn't have imperfections. The most significant challenge probably was when I was about 8.5 or 9 years sober, and I was way too successful because the gifts of staying clean and sober afforded me a really good career. I got to graduate from college with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, which, is not a horrible degree, and you can get a job doing pretty significant work. And I was working in radio, and I was making good money, and I was spending a ton of it too, because I wasn't responsible. The point is that work was the most important thing in my life. Second to that was still my parents, but was probably, third, fourth, fifth were like my relationships and honesty and taking care of myself. So if you know anything about how the program works, there are these little words like sponsor and meetings and steps. Okay. And I wasn't doing any of those things. I didn't have a sponsor. I wasn't calling someone regularly. I wasn't checking in with a very good confidant, which is effectively what a sponsor is. I didn't have anyone in my corner because I pushed them all away. And I ended up with a gun in my mouth and wanted to kill myself more stark raving sober at about 8.5, 9 years than I ever did drinking and using. And thank God or Buddha or whatever, I'm sitting there holding this thing. And in my mind, I swear to God, the words were, "This isn't a good idea." So I put it down. I grabbed my bag. I left the house I was in. I went home, and my parents, interestingly enough, were staying at my house at the time. They were out for vacation. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm done with that relationship. I'm done with this." And again, I wasn't able to have healthy relationships either. But yeah, that was absolutely the low. So that was about 20 years ago. And but because of that bottom, that stark raving sober bottom, that clarity bottom, that was my rock bottom. But because I was so aware of what was going on and knew that there was a solution that allowed me to basically get to that point, certainly all of the successes, but it also was painfully obvious what happens when I don't do that. It's like, you work out and you eat right for like 3 years straight, and all of a sudden you're like very healthy and you're excellent and you feel good. And then you start eating chocolate chip cookies and donuts and laying on the couch and not working out. And you say, "Wait a minute." I stopped doing what was helping me. And now I'm, right. So it was basically that simple. Really. But I was rendered sufficiently desperate, and I went back to this guy that I had an enormous amount of respect for, who I still have an enormous amount of respect for, who is currently my sponsor. His name is Bill. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, and I played it out. "Oh yeah, everything's going great, dude." It's like, yeah, I got fired. But, oh yeah. No, I don't have the relationship anymore. No, I'm in debt. Yeah. No, it's no big. Everything's going good. Bullshit. And so he says to me something really simple. And he's like, Mickey, look, everyone calls me Mickey in the program. He's like, Mickey, you gotta go back to meetings. And I'm like, no, Bill, you don't understand. I've got 8.5, 9 years. I mean, I know what he's like. What? You just told me that you were in it with a gun. So anyway, so I basically did the same stuff that I did at for my first 30 days that allowed me to put an entire month of sobriety together one day at a time. I just started doing those things again at 9 years. And my life has been pretty freaking great ever since. It's been imperfect. I mean, to get fired and lose your relationship and all that, I mean, I had to build up. You know, the next job I got wasn't great. The next business I started wasn't wildly successful. The next houses I bought didn't return a massive ROI. And, and I lost money, and I don't know if I lost any more relationships, but I certainly had a road back to building back relationships that were built on integrity and trust and the kind I like, the kind that I have, or the kind I get to have with Gracie right now. And significant amount of trial and error. Yeah. So that was it. But I just saw this as kind of fun. Yeah. The first rule of Fight Club, indeed, it doesn't exist. There is no Fight Club. You don't talk about it. Dad was an alcoholic. I have had 2 times I walked away from a bottle because instead of occasional fun, it was needed, and it should never be needed, as my dad said. Yeah, I would agree with that statement, dude. It's tough when it becomes that. Never had to fight it as hard as me. Yeah, I mean, it's, some people fight hard against that. Some people battle cancer and survive it. Some people go through 3 divorces and then realize, wait a second, I need to work on myself and be a better partner before I can attract somebody healthy. You never know. I am great, York. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. It's great to see some of these names that I haven't seen in a while, simply because I haven't clicked on Go Live in a while. So thank you for actually a very enjoyable yesterday with both Gracie and I that prompted me to do this again today. And I know what surviving feels like. Exactly. Yeah, it's less than awesome. And flatbed and Barstow, with or without running water. Well, see, that's the thing, right? I mean, you got to define your own level of awesome sauce. So I'm guessing with you, White Wolf, you're probably thinking, I don't know, I could go natural gas. I mean, it could be, for you, it could be a Vespa. Who knows? It's just all how you define your level of success, buddy. Morning, all and sundry. Sorry for being late to school. What do we know, guys? You're never late. You're on time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be at this moment. Cherish it. I'm glad you have a note from your mother, though. I respect your mother a great deal because she allowed you to, hey, honey, here's my signature. Practice this, won't you? Yeah. You are. Absolutely. I completely agree. Jason, good to see you, buddy. Perhaps you can invite him, your friend, to move to Southeast Asia. I have, and it's sadly not that simple. There are things keeping him there, not the least of which is he sadly didn't make it a priority to pay his federal income tax. And so he owes the government a lot. And he's not an American citizen. He's a citizen of a country that we respect a great deal, like Britain or that sort of thing, let's just say. And however, as you may know, the 2 databases are connected. Is the short answer. And so therefore, if you owe the government more than $50,000 and you're a foreigner and you try and get back in, we discuss that. So him leaving right now would need to be for good, and he would need to have some degree of backup. And right now, he doesn't have a whole lot of backup. He's working on a backup. And I'm really grateful that for whatever reason, whatever I did a few steps in a row and then a few more. And then all of a sudden, Gracie showed up in my life and I got to continue with that. That didn't end that weekend. That allowed me to continue a relationship with her because, she had something I wanted. I had something she wanted. It involved integrity, honesty, smile, hugs, and a possible future that might bring a little bit of happiness. And so we kind of decided to join together with that one. But believe me, there's a lot of my buddies back home. Good to see you, Jason. Yeah. That want to be here. Not the least of which is because they watch Asia Unscripted, right? Boom, boom. See what I did just then? Boom. How you doing? Yeah, at the border. Hello, Robert. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by, sir. That's a sad story. I'm so glad you survived that fork in life. Yeah, me too. Thank you, MedTech. I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate your empathy, sir. Been listening for a while. Stock, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for coming by. It's great to see these. It's great to see my friends here. Basically, I selfishly, I pray to God you guys all fly here, so Gracie and I just have to walk down the street or take the BTS. But I just hope we meet someday. MedTech Bieva says, "I am the sundry," and yeah, there you go. You guys like this new chat? I actually didn't like it at first, but now I like it because it says the comment at the top and the name at the bottom versus the inverse of that, which occurs in the StreamYard platform. Just so you know, this is the Restream platform. Restream.io is there in case you have any interest in this. Dave, I know you use StreamYard and are very successful with it, but if this is something that you think, hey, this is kind of cool, but Mariano says, after COVID, bars are now reopened. Now, investing in a bar is a good idea to make some money. People want to be among other people again. As a sober person, how do you feel about investing in a bar? Well, at the end of the day, the easiest way, as far as I'm concerned, to lose money, 3 ways. Buy a plane, buy a boat, buy a restaurant. Yeah, I have... I look at a bar. I've worked in bars. Shocker, I'm sure. I've worked in nightclubs, right? The DJ. And I know the profit that's available for reselling alcohol, basically. Because certainly with like draft beer, I mean, the markup on that is gargantuan. But, there's the cost of labor and that sort of thing. But I have no interest in a bar. I don't really it's not like a moral judgment thing about me. I'm an ex-smoker, right? And I used to smoke, and I know that smoking's bad for you. But I definitely would not buy like a cigar lounge. Okay, so would I buy a bar? Would I invest in a? No, I wouldn't invest in a bar. As far as I'm concerned, anyone who makes money with a bar is they're outliers. There's some luck involved. Some of them are just incredibly successful at it. They're incredibly skilled at it. And usually those are the people that do it. People that are just like, I'm going to open up a bar because I like the atmosphere and that sort of thing. As far as I'm concerned, that's an unwise investment. It's a red ocean. If you know anything about blue ocean strategy, right? So red ocean versus, so a red ocean, basically, it's called that because it resembles what happens when a whole bunch of sharks come to an area and start feeding, and there's blood in the waters, and everyone is fighting for the exact same fish. Many will die. The big ones that like push out, they get the fish, right? And then there's blue ocean strategy, which you say, okay, so instead of competing in that area, I'm going to come up with something completely new. Probably the easiest example I can give you guys is Cirque du Soleil. Prior to Cirque du Soleil, there was like Ringling Brothers, and then there were these other sort of non-Ringling Brothers, other ones, right? And it's like, I'm going to open up a circus, or I'm going to open up a Broadway play, or I'm going to open up an entertainment venue, or I'm going to do this, right? And you would be competing with all of the other guys. And Cirque comes along and they're like, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. It's going to be freaking amazing. And it's going to be this ingestible experience. And as it turns out, we're going to charge 17 times more than the average amusement is for something like this. Cirque du Soleil. That's a blue ocean. And so I believe that the bar industry, the restaurant industry as well, depending upon what you have for sale, is a red ocean, and you're competing with the next guy. And I don't know about you guys, but when I go into various red ocean things like that, I think shopping on Amazon, I think is a great example. If I go to Amazon and I type in headphones, okay, and there's a guy selling these exact headphones. I just did it recently. I'll give you a great. He was selling it for 1,500 and something baht. And then I scrolled down a little bit, and the next guy was selling it for 1,496 baht, and I bought those because it's the exact same. Why would I bother? All I had to do is like literally scroll my mouse 4 inches, and I just saved 100 baht. And as you guys know, 100 baht, that feeds Gracie and I for a whole night. So why wouldn't I? So it's that red ocean. It's like these guys that make these drop shipping courses, which is why I joke around about them so much, especially the ones that are like, you can put a product up on Amazon and here's how I've been wildly successful. It's like, dude, everyone else is selling that widget, and the guy that sells it for 1 penny less, he's going to be wildly successful if you get right. So my point is, is that I wouldn't get into that. Now, you could argue, well, Mike, what about radio? Radio is a red ocean. Right. There's no way I'm throwing up a terrestrial radio station. But internet radio, way too many people think about internet radio as basically internetized terrestrial radio. Let's take an FM station and take the audio that's going to the transmitter. Well, let's just like throw it onto the internet and then consider it, but let's really focus on our local market. That's retarded. Okay. That's like basically saying I'm going to focus on this community of 100 people, but I'm going to go buy a 250,000 watt transmitter and a 2,000 foot stick, and I'm going to broadcast, but I'm only going to concentrate on the transmitter is now the internet, dude. Why are you not advertising globally? Why are you not serving a global audience if you have an internet radio station? And I don't know why I'm the only guy thinking about this. Everyone I tell it to, they're like, oh yeah, that's a really great idea. We should probably do that. But first we're going to go down to the street to the car wash and we're going to do a remote over there because we're focused on our local community. What? Okay, go for it. So as you know, Mariano, the answer to a question is never no. Yak, 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 yak. Aloha, Daniel. Mahalo for coming by, man. Good to see you. Appreciate your story. You're sharing your story. There's lessons for all of us. I hope so. I got to tell you right now, I've heard a whole bunch of other stories, and I learned from them too. I learned the phrase gratitude attack from a guy that I heard when I had about 90 days sober. He had about 7 years sober, so therefore he was a god to me. And he shared about this, and just in the middle of his speech, he started tearing up like I am right this second. And he said, he just paused, because I mean, these guys that like are speakers, right? I mean, I've done the speaking thing for a while, and not a circuit speaker. I wasn't like paid to like fly to Australia and tell my story and then fly home and be put up in a hotel. But I've done, public speaking, right? And so in doing so, there's some degree of sort of the flow. Like you kind of know what you're going to talk about. And yeah, I kind of know what I'm going to talk about. And I ad lib along the way, fine. But there are moments where I'm just like, and then I just, like, oh my God. And this guy described it so well. And I reuse his statement. And his name was Mickey as well, which is gratitude. He just paused and he goes, God, I'm having a gratitude attack. And he just looked out at the audience. He's like, you guys ever have gratitude attacks? And I was like, oh, that's my new addiction. I mean, success is my new drug of choice, and having gratitude attacks and being so freaking grateful that I just tear up like I am right now because I'm going through a ton of emotion because I'm the luckiest guy in the world, guys. I got to wake up this morning and I tried so hard to make that not happen. But damn it, if something out there pulled me by the scruff of my neck and said, no. You don't get to die, sport. You have to survive and experience joy to a point where you will literally cry on camera, dude. Because you're so... the universe said to me a while ago, I'm going to overpay you so much that you literally will not be able to contain it. That's how I sort of visualize why these tears occur, because there just simply is not enough room inside of me to carry around this much joy, this much gratitude, this much payment. And so I hope by squirting it out, you guys get to pick it up and need it as much as you need it, take it away. Steal my happiness if you have to. I have an unlimited amount. I didn't realize that was possible. The sky is not the limit. Okay. No. Not if you... I'm living the dream, guys. I'm living the dream. Did I just miss a big comment? I apologize. Stuck in a semi in Bakersfield every Thursday and Friday. For a Fritos load each week to head back to Washington. That's why I ask engine or not off in Barstow. I would say engine on. You're probably looking at needing a little bit of AC. How's that? Fuel cost at about $35 a day. Without, if you making your own food, $5 to $10 a day. Yeah. Fuel cost, it's about $35 a day. Yeah, and I'm happy. Thank you for sharing, Mike. We have just love. I love you too, dude. You're so cool. The videos you make are so, hey, it's Joe. I'm hanging out on the sidewalk with my mask. And I don't know if you guys watch, if you don't subscribe and watch some of Joe's videos, just friggin' do it. There's no way you have so much going on in your life that you can't watch at least a couple of his videos, okay? Go do that. And if you leave those videos and you do not say to yourself, God, I just want to kind of, I just kind of want to walk down the sidewalk to this guy and give him a shoulder and say, hey, dude, I'm glad I know you. If you don't say that, get the hell out of my cool kids table because Joe's awesome, man. He's great. And I love having the opportunity to have friendships like that, like with you and Stuck and Joe and Chris and Todd and Patrick and White Wolf and all of you guys. I know you weren't saying that about Joe, but he grows on me too. Mm-hmm. I think of you actually, sir, when I think about Daniel pops in too, and I think about you, Doctor. So aloha to you. Mahalo for coming by. Always good to see you, man. If I could find 100s that weren't yellow flavor, if I could find the white flavor again, because I'm racist, then that would be awesome. At the cool kids table, Mike is 1, Gracie is 2. Yeah. There you go. I think it's a pretty close second. I think we share 1. How's that? But thank you. You're cool, Joe. Hey, good to see you, man. Gracie knows your real name because she knows your Facebook name. Walking in my shoes. Robert, right? The guy with the black and white photo with the beard. Robert Shepard. Yeah. Yeah. She's better at that than I am. That's for sure. Oh, wait, hold on. And the guy just gave us $5. High five, honey. Psh. Boom. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Kapuma kapchame. You know what I mean? Just realized my blue spanner went away. Wait, what? Hold on. I got to go over to YouTube to message retracted. Hold on. You know what, dude? I hate this stuff. Hold on. Right mouse click, add moderator. Hit refresh. I'm just glad that I worked for a couple that was from South Africa. They're some of my best friends, Laurel and Errol, rather, and Brenda. And they taught me what a spanner is. And I literally just clicked on the 3 dots. I went down to add moderator. And right now, the only option by your name, Chris, is remove moderator. However, if I hit refresh, I don't see your spanner. I don't see your wrench. So I don't know why YouTube is so freaking incompetent when they literally have a room full of engineers that are way overqualified. But I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We already went grocery shopping the other day, and I think we're gonna have salmon tonight because but just so you know, so that's 150 baht, right? For 100 baht, Gracie and I get a nice piece of salmon, and so then for a little bit more rice, and so hey, thanks for feeding us. Thank you for feeding us for one more night. My gratitude is infectious. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I seek out streams like this, by the way. I don't just produce. And occasionally I'll run across one that resonates with me. I mean, they all don't. Not all of them do, right? And shoot, let's face it. It's not like I've got 1,000 concurrent viewers. I mean, I don't resonate with a lot of people either. But it's just like you guys decided to show up at the cool kids table, and there you go. So yeah, thank you very much for my puff tissues stock tip. I shall do that. Thanks, Joe. Only had half a glass of beer once. 1 glass of spiked OJ. Those are my only 2 alcohol experiences, so I apologize if it's difficult to relate to alcoholism. Well, you don't have it, so you don't need to apologize, buddy. That's like saying I'm really sorry that I don't have lymphoma. I do believe it's a disease. I also believe it's a different kind. It's not simply just sort of this medical thing. It is a phenomenon of craving that you don't get with the disease of cancer. um, Nobody with cancer wants more cancer, but people with alcoholism want more alcohol. I heard a great thing. This guy, he used to teach young kids, and as part of like sort of one of the health discussions he was having, he said to the kids, "Hey, so what do you think is the number one treatment for depression? The number one, the most common treatment that people use for depression." Some kids said, "Well, they go to the beach," or some said, Prozac or whatever. Like he said, "No, alcohol. Alcohol is the number one thing that people ingest to try and diminish their level of depression. They ingest a depressant that is possibly addictive based on your chemical makeup and your background and that sort of thing. They ingest that to get rid of their depression, sadly. And so let me tell you right now that I am so happy that you do not have the disease of alcoholism. It's one thing to be on this side of it, bro, and look in the rearview mirror and be like, whew, glad I dodged that bullet, almost literally. But yeah, it's not something you want to get just so you can reap the benefits of the solution. Let me just say that. I remember the first time, like I had tasted my dad's drink, like on the counter and was a kid and been like, oh my God, why in the world would anyone purposely ingest this? This is worse than that damn cough medicine my mom gives me. Right. And, but the first time I like drank, cause I wanted to be one of the big kids, it was the reasoning for me. I have no idea how much I drank. It was a lot. I was 15. I was either 14 or 15 years old. I think it was 15. I blacked out. I drank so much that I don't remember what happened, but I was told that I repeatedly fell down a flight of stairs, meaning I was so drunk, I guess I walked up to the top of the stairs and accidentally fell down. It was one of these stairs that like goes like this, halfway 6 stairs and then another 6, and there's like a 90. Apparently I like fell down it and my buddies laughed at me, and I guess I liked that attention. And so then I purposely went to the top of the stairs and fell down again several times while I was in this drunk blackout. So I woke up and I had like all these bruises on me, and I like felt, that hurt. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to do that again. That's crazy, But then the next time I drank to excess, which was not shortly thereafter, I was at a party and there were girls there. And I don't know what I did. Apparently I like fell down on the kitchen floor and I was like flopping around like a fish or something. I wasn't having like a seizure, but I was like doing something crazy. And everyone like just started pouring beer on me or something like this. And it was very, it was demoralizing, right? But apparently I liked it and I kept doing it. Well, there were girls there. And so then I woke up came to the next morning, of course. And I think that's right. I also like walked out of the backyard of that house and I fell head first on a chain link fence. It was about waist high. And so I sliced open my head and I had all this blood in my hair. So I woke up, my buddy called me. They're like, dude, how are you? And I like put my fingers through my hair and there's all this like, I'm like, what? So anyway, so he just tells me the story that I just gave you guys. No, I'm good. Thank you. And they were like, yeah, man, these girls, they thought you were hilarious. And I was like, so what are we doing next weekend, guys? Right? So whatever the motivator, it wasn't just the attention from the girls, believe me. It was feeling like one of the big kids. It was getting out of myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't realize until afterwards that I had the rearview mirror available of sobriety, where I looked back and realized that I wasn't comfortable in my own skin, amidst the fact that I was surrounded by a family that gave me literally everything I needed. That is for damn sure. They gave me pretty much, the joke is I used to say, I got everything I wanted as a child with the exception of a plane and a pony. And even that, I didn't want a pony. Plane would have been cool, but then I would have had to take lessons, and that would have taken effort. It's like I really want to be able to. I really want to be able to play the piano, but I'm not about to take a lesson, right? But I was just inundated with solution and positive reinforcement and encouragement and resources. But I just didn't, I wanted to be somebody different. I wanted to be, once the show came out, I really wanted to be Don Johnson, because the neat thing is he was like the character in that show. He was like this praised superhero, if you will, of catching the bad guys, but yet he got to do some bad stuff too. But of course, the ends justified the means for him, right? So he was able to do it. But there was cocaine available. There was bitchin' cars. There was a boat. There was an alligator that lived on the boat. You had a really cool buddy, Tubbs, and you were like handsome, and you got to travel around in these boats, and you got to be surrounded by cocaine. And I'm like, I want to be Don Johnson. And I thought that was goofy, and I was never going to share it with anybody or whatever. And then I met my first sponsor, and we're going through the steps, and you're sort of, you're confessing to somebody else all of the bad shit that you've kept bottled up, that quite frankly, some of that behavior, you anesthetize yourself with alcohol and drugs to just keep down there, and you don't want to ever admit it. And he says, dude, I always wanted to be the Marlboro Man. Like, that was the guy that he looked at, and he's like, yeah, that guy's so badass. Like, he's tough, and he smokes, and he doesn't get cancer until he died of cancer and AIDS and But the point is that, we had these, at the time, silly, but people other than ourselves. I wanted to be other than ourselves. Now, and a lot of people will do that dysfunctionally, but of course, the people they want to be are Mother Teresa and Nelson Mandela and President Kennedy and that sort of thing. No. But the point is that I had to keep something going to be comfortable in my own skin. And now, interestingly enough, to be comfortable in my own skin, I tell the truth. And I share my feelings, and I try. I believe I succeed. I act with integrity. I act. It's not real. I'm just acting with integrity. But, I do the best I can with the awareness I have. And I believe I have quite a bit of awareness, and so I have a responsibility to act with integrity. So Joe has 16 subs. Well, you guys better get to it. Oh, did one of you say, hold on. Joe, you should share the link. Joe, do you have a wrench? Stand by. Yeah, Joe has a wrench. He can share his link to his channel. Do you have a wrench yet, Chris? There we go. Finally. Okay, good. I guess it took a while to refresh. I guess it takes a while for a massive, giant, one of the best clouds of computers globally. It takes a while to refresh. Give me a break. Thanks, Mike. You just gave me an idea for my next video. Great. I'm honored. You let me know when it is. I want to watch it. I saw you come in, dude. That's why I have the chat over here, but you guys know I'm always behind. Great to see you, Juan. ¿Cómo está? So psyched you're here, buddy. Bummed we never got to physically hang out in San Diego, but I'm psyched for us to do. Can you put the BKKFM on the live, please? Yeah, I wish I could, actually. So there's imperfections, and I know you're joking. There's imperfections with this restream thing. Not the least of which is that I can't just drag and drop that logo to a different spot. I also can't use layers really in this, which really bums me out. And I'm stuck. I am going to get to your comment / question / discussion. I just want to make sure. Oh, so are you guys like altcoin, Bitcoin, crypto people? You know how everyone was like freaking out because it went down? I gave what I thought was certainly the best advice to a pretty good friend of mine. I said, dude, here's the thing. Every time it goes down 10%, buy more. If it goes down 10 more percent, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more. It is so volatile right now. It's crazy. Bitcoin got down to 32,000. What's it at right now? Meaning, here's what happens is I set notifications to various coins that I have or follow. And the minute it goes either up or down 10%, I get a notification. So one of the ones that I have, which is XYO, that just went up 13.41%. Yesterday, it went up 12%. So, and you know what happened 4 days ago? It went down 43%. Didn't freak out. I'm like, I got this, dude. I said, I could lose every single one of my altcoins, every single one. It doesn't matter right now because I'm overpaid. Why would you? Crying from joy is basically like showing off. You're like, I can't keep it in. There's not enough backpacks on Lazada for me to carry around all this gratitude. I mean, it's just, are you kidding me? The hell do I need money to be happy for? I need money because it's the way things work. Okay. Money is necessary. Okay. I love this one quote from a guy that I know in San Diego. He said, money will not solve all your problems, but lack of it can cause many. So I agree. And I'm glad you're here, Rob. Thanks a lot for coming by. And no, BKK.FM, actually, that logo should be a lot larger. Am I right, Joe? Mm-hmm. 20 seconds of time. So how early does Rob regularly get up now that he's living basically in a van down by the river, right? Up in the woods. You must have a back 40, though. That must be pretty sweet. Search your mojo and then yeah. I hope one of you guys put that up there. That would be pretty awesome. You should find something that says, oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, his what is his Gmail address, right? Whoa, hold on. Okay, so here's the biggest downside to the using these frames or these solutions is that I don't get those displayed right away. Obviously, I know they show up very quickly in YouTube. So, Chris, seriously, dude, thank you so much. Because let me tell you something about Chris. And you guys do this as well, but Chris and I just happen to do it a little bit more frequently. He adds value to my life. We regularly, probably almost daily, have a little bit of interaction, and we joke around on like chat, and we say, "Oh yeah, remember when we were young and did this?" Or "Remember this is really funny?" Or "Let me show you this inappropriate picture of Stewie having sex with a monkey," or whatever, right? And from Family Guy, by the way. And anyway, so we do that. So he brings value to my life. He brings joy to my life by doing that. And then he just like seriously gave me 10 Aussie dollars, dude. Do you have any idea how long we're going to be able to eat for 10 Aussie dollars? Thanks, man. You're awesome. I really appreciate it. The software responsible for the lack of mango emojis, etc. for members. You told me to let you know when stuff has changed. Now grab a smoothie. God damn it. I shall, dude. I shall. All you guys at the Cool Kids table actually, by the way, have permission to tell me when things are going wrong technically. I expect it. And in fact, as of yesterday, I realized so this other mixer that I have, I don't like the, when I say feedback, you're going to think that no, not that basically, but the fold back, let's just call it that, audio that I get to hear out of that one. I don't like it. It doesn't have the same bus structure as this one. And so therefore I can't like basically the audio that you guys were hearing, I wasn't hearing. And then when I heard it, you guys didn't hear it. I don't like that monitoring paradigm. It should either be just me or both of us or the both of us. How's that? Sub to Joe, but I can't paste his link. Only a mod. You're not a mod, Stuck? Jesus God, what the hell? The hell is not the hell you. What the hell is my problem? Who else should be a mod, for God's sake? I think White Wolf should be a mod. MetTech's not a mod. Yeah, that makes a gargantuan amount of sense. What the hell? What have I been doing over here? Anyone else? Mojo, Mariano, Chris. All right, I think I did what I should do. If you guys think I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, as you know, I haven't been doing live streams in a while, so arguably I haven't been paying attention to this sort of thing. However, I do want to say thank you so much, Teresa, for all of the joy that you brought to my life and those around me when I was back in San Diego. She could still do it. She's not dead. It's just that when she and I met through this organization that I was a part of, that our honor to be the leader of for a while, or in the leadership role, let's just say that. My title was like, I'm the guy that is the leader, but at the end of the day, it's a team effort, as you guys know anything about leadership. It's, oh, yeah, I led the whole thing. I was in charge of Exxon, and everybody did. No. It's a team effort, dude. Anyway, the two organizations, effectively, that I got to be president of for a little bit. Teresa really helped promote my business for a while with her massive skills in photography, as well as just her personality that allowed her to, somehow like what I was doing and therefore share that from a genuine perspective, and that, helped my organization, but it also really It didn't really help my personal job that whole much, my earning potential, but it helped the organization that I was a part of. The It's all about the kids, in case you care what it is, which I believe added value to children, kids that were, and by children I mean kids that are basically teenagers in San Diego. So anyway, Teresa's awesome. Thanks for coming by. Mahalo. I think Joe's the mod. Joe should be. There should be a number of you now that can add links. Or Mike, could you post a link to or Joe? He just told us to watch him stuck in Florida. All right, stand by. Let me go. I think. Hold on. Let me just make sure that you've done that. I believe I saw a URL show up, so I think you guys have done that already, right? Okay, cool. Mariano shared it. Thank you very much. I see Joe saying, "Oh no, it's bkk.fm." There you go. All right. Yeah, let's get you up to 20 or so. I mean, would you say he has 18? We can get him up to 25 by the end of this live stream, for God's sake, man. Absolutely. I've been told it was a waste of carbon. Oh, come on. I know you're joking, dude. I can relate to your teenage drinking experiences and the outcome as an adult. Yeah, it's it does provide a foundation for wild success, provided you learn from it, right? And as you said, relating. Wrongly guessed that you're in the UK. BNP is a abbreviation for the political parties. Oh, yeah. No, he's down in Aussie. Do you say that, Aussie, or do you say Oz? Look at me. Look at you guys with your 100 participation level. On a scale of 1 to 100, you guys have absolutely exceeded expectations of the technology. Nice work, bro. Nice work. Miami Vice was a great show, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it was awesome at the time. I was finally psyched when they were like, oh, yeah, let's lose the kit car now that we've actually generated enough revenue and have them drive a real Ferrari. Amateurs. I'm so lame. I didn't even realize that Joe had a channel. Oh, no, come on. That doesn't mean you're lame. I'm sorry I'm behind on these. I know you guys figured it out. I'm only 5 minutes behind. You turned from Don Johnson into the greatest American hero, even if he did not get to tell you everyone he was a superhero. Indeed. I like Greatest American Hero. That was a good show, too. Love Boat didn't have any heroes on that one. Chips. I remember, God, it had to have been less than a month I was living in Southern California. And where I lived, I mean, a block and a half from the beach. So I'd walk down and there was Pacific Beach and there's this giant, or not giant, but there's this fairly wide sidewalk. And by fairly wide, I mean at least, 4 or 5 meters, right? So people could and they had a line down the middle such that there was like two-way traffic. And I go out there and I literally, I looked to my right, I looked to my left, and in both directions, I see attractive girls in bikinis roller skating. And I was like, oh my God, this is just like Chips. Like the only time I ever saw that behavior was on this TV show that I watched from New England that was shot in Southern California. And the girls would roller skating. And I was like, no, really? And there it was. And then and then minutes later, I walked back to my house and I crossed this main street. And what goes in front of me but 2 motorcycle cops, right? CHP, because they came down off of the highway. And I was like, oh my God, it's Ponch and John. I mean, it's just like, oh my God, like all this stuff really exists. I still haven't been to the Robin Masters estate. So I haven't fulfilled that fantasy, but I don't really spend any time on Oahu. Usually I fly into Oahu and then immediately leave and go to Maui. So the Robin Masters estate is on the North Shore. So I haven't been up there to check that out, but Mr. Thomas Sullivan Magnum I was a huge fan of his too. And in fact, I wanted to be him so much that after I broke up with this girl and my heart was completely broken, I grew a mustache and I bought a Detroit Tigers hat. And I used to walk around and think I was Tom Selleck, a Magnum PI. I did not wear the short tan shorts, though. You'll be happy to know. Hiding down under till all this stuff blows over and then let us out to play again. Copy that, Batman. Pay for my Thailand trip with Dogecoin. Yeah, sure. Provides when whenever you sell it, right? Yeah, see? Joe's like, yeah, here's my link. Hodl. Do you guys say that because you believe it stands for the misspelling of hold, or do you believe it stands for hold on for dear life? 8 a.m. Look at you, big boy. Right on, dude. It's awesome, right? I got to tell you, man, if I get up lately, I've been getting up after the sun has risen, and I feel like I'm just missing out because, I'm also addicted to everything. And so therefore, I want more. My drug of choice is more. There you go. Totally stoked. Thank you. I saw you guys share that. Really appreciate it, buddy. Ford is up big, I think, partly from the F-150 Lightning and that. Well, it's also up big because it was down so much. I mean, what did it hit? Did it hit 4, for God's sake? I mean, Jesus, dude. Although I do like them because all you got to do is type F and Ford shows up. Oh, no, but because of what I've been searching for, Facebook showed up. I'm like, wait a minute. Ford is at 327. That would have been, I don't know. Awesome. Oh, cool. They're at 14. Yeah, what did they get down to? They got down to they got down to like 430. I knew that was just, I mean, come on. I knew that when they hit 4, I'm like, no, actually, they didn't get down below 4, did they? What did they hit on this day? Yeah, 4.25 basically is the low as they got in April. But I was pretty confident once they went down to like round 4. I said, oh my God. So, I bought some and then sold some. In fact, who actually was really successful with Ford, I think, recently? Go More Hike. I believe he was sharing with me. He's like, oh yeah, I like Ford. So I bought, maybe it was some other auto manufacturer, but damn, that's early for you. You might start getting up and walking on the beach at 6 a.m. when you get back to Phuket. I got to tell you, dude, 6 a.m. walking the beach at Phuket, very enjoyable for this guy. I got to be able to stay right there on the beach, man, right down the street from I think Lucky 13 is one of the bars right there on the beach that he does. There's more down further north rather. But where I was staying, it's kind of like near the 90. If you guys knew Kamala. Go unlock a car. Still listing. Oops. Yes. Good. I wanted to make sure I got it. Gave him credit for posting, Joe's. You're not mod material? All right. Well, I can always remove you. I had the not a mod thing going for so long. That's okay, dude. You've added value in the last several streams. I more than earned. I mean, I don't know if it's something you earn, I suppose, but I do. I appreciate you sort of, saying, hey, this should go in the chat. This shouldn't. So what should go there. You're part of the Cool Kids table. You said we should talk about visas today. We are both the same age, 52 in 3 weeks. Happy birthday. I would like to work a few more years, but with a Thai retirement visa, you cannot work officially. That is absolutely accurate. Officially, you cannot. However, what I want to do okay, so let me touch on visas, and then MedTech, I'm going to get to your point about travel. So you want to work and you're over 52. As you and I have talked about, and as many of us, I think, have shared that are from the Western world, to come to Thailand and make effectively what we would, let's say, label Thai wages, that would be bad. That would be undesirable. That would be surviving from our perspective. Let's just say that. So for the sake of argument, let's say you come over to Thailand and you basically still want to make $100,000 a year. Okay. US dollars. You're going to need to get hired and employed by a Western company for sure. And by that, I mean, like, you, quite frankly, not just a Western company, sorry, an international company that believes that you add that much value and therefore your ROI to the organization is justifiable. Now, you could, I don't know if it's probable. I don't know how possible it is, but or sorry, it's possible, let's say, but it's not yet very probable. You could come over here and you could get a job with True. You could get a job with AIS. You can get a job with what's the big data center company over here? Switch. You can get a job with the Switch Nap down in Chambéry. Big, whatever, and you could make that kind of money. But let's say you're be able to get employed. Really, that's the only way that I would recommend, unless you have some great fantasy of coming over here and somehow getting effectively Western wages, right? I just want to make sure this isn't my outdoor air conditioner. Stand by. Okay, cool. It's like a weed. I was going to say weed whacker, but I don't think they. Oh no, they do own those here, and they're gas powered. Yeah, that's right. That's what they use for lawnmowers. Anyway, so I would recommend if you're basically coming over here to work, that you go through the same paradigm that you would use to go to any other country and continue to work. And so, for example, for me, I believe that if I were to go to, like, if I were to get a Shenzhen visa, then it's basically like, look, you can come over here, but you need to pay into the social system, right? So you need to go through the proper paperwork of doing that. I believe if I went to Australia and wanted to get a job, I know one of the big things, like in the United States, for example, when you fill out a job application, one of the questions is, do you have the legal right to work in the United States, right? And really treat it like nothing else over here. So, yeah, I would never encourage anyone who absolutely was like, no, I definitely want to work to get a retirement visa. That's kind of, right? Just because it's just such a pain in the ass. And, at the end of the day, because there's an underlying legal framework that you're basically busting open by doing that. So don't do that. Get a tourist visa if you want to be a tourist. Get a retirement visa if you want to retire, and get a other type of long stay visa. Now, here's the thing. Don't forget to work in Thailand. Yeah, you need a business visa, but you also need a work permit. Okay. So, Now, Mariano, in your case, you've shared with me, you basically have your own company. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with coming over here and forming a company and employing Thai people, because, again, you can get them for very reasonable rates compared to what we're used to paying, let's say, in the West for the same amount of labor, right? And by labor, I can mean, programming Java. Okay, so you can hire locals to do that. There's also a program referred to as the Smart Visa. I highly encourage you, type in Thai Smart Visa in Google. It's literally like smartvisa.co.th or something. But at the end of the day, search for Smart Visa. And the reason I recommend that is because there's 4, maybe 5, I can't remember. But one of the types of smart visas is, yeah, we'll give you this amazing visa and you can do all this stuff. All you got to do is come over here and invest 25 million baht. No, so that's silly. Or you come over here and you invest in a condo, right? A lot of people have heard that. You buy like a $10 million. So that's an investment thing. And I'm talking about the 2 or potentially 3 types of smart visas, one of which is, I believe it's the S type, which I believe stands for startup. And I think the other one is maybe like entrepreneur or executive E type. I can't remember. Regardless, there's a couple of them that I think would apply to, certainly in your case, and maybe me as well. Because the first type of smart visa you can get involves basically it's a 6-month visa. It is a 6-month smart visa that affords you the ability to work absolutely legally. You don't have to get a work permit. It is basically attached to it. And then I just saw your thing, smart versus elite. Elite is 100% retirement only, and smart allows you so it's quite different, really. Smart is really if you want to work and start a company and bring your brain. That's why it's called the Smart Visa, right? Is that effectively you want to bring your skills or your money, and you want to invest. You want to prop up. You want to improve the quality of the economy here in Thailand. That's basically sort of the gist of it, because it is a visa you get through the Board of Investment, BOI. Anyway, Mariano. So the first type of smart visa you can get, I believe it's under S. Anyway, the requirements I've had and that's the other thing too, is you can set up an appointment and have a conference call with someone, like a Zoom call, totally free. And she answered a ton of my questions. Her English was excellent, and she even said a couple things to me, and she's like, "Yeah, I think that's the right answer." And then we got off the call, and literally within 20 minutes, she sent me, less than that, probably 10. sent me an email. Mr. Summer, I just want to really clarify what I said. This is actually this kind of incorrect. Here are the steps that I missed telling you about. This is actually the real answer. This is what you need to do. Anyway, first type of visa, you can get a 6-month visa. What are the requirements for that? You basically need to present to them a PowerPoint presentation, not a full business plan kind of thing, but a pitch deck. You need to say, look, this is my company. These are all the things that I want to do. So for you, quite frankly, one could argue you could basically just make a 20-point PowerPoint or 20-page PowerPoint or something to that effect, which is basically a pitch deck of you saying, okay, here's the media company that I have that's been successful here in Europe. Here's how I want to Thai-ify it, and here's what I want to bring to Thailand, and here's what I'm going to do, and here's now. So let's say you get that visa. Now, within those 6 months, their expectation is that you either leave or retire or do something like that. But usually their expectation is, okay, we're going to let you in here for 6 months and we're going to let you do whatever the heck you want. But there's going to be some degree of accountability. And we're going to kind of expect you to get to the next step, the next stage of the smart visa, which is 1 year or potentially 2 years. And the 1 year requirement is a little bit more. You don't need to do a financial investment. And again, verify this with the smart because it could have changed. But my recollection is that the requirements for that are that you basically say, okay, well, I'm bringing some money over here, or I'm investing in this, or I have this very robust idea, or I'm actually generating revenue, or I have, these people that I'm employing to some degree, right? And then it's either the 1 year or the 2 year, and I'm kind of combining these because I can't remember specifically the requirements for each one. But their goal is to put you on this trajectory where you basically form a Thai company and you have ideally a startup over here that is profitable. But of course, that's the fantasy, and that's not necessarily the reality for probably at least 51% of most startups, right? But they're like, look, what are your financials? How are you bringing value over here? And then you work with the board of investment. And then considering what you do and what I would be, is fairly technical, then you can get involved. I believe a good suggestion would be to get involved in what's called Thailand 4.0. And so True Digital Park is kind of part of that. But then there's, it's not called Thai Digital Park, but it's basically like this gigantic piece of real estate between Bangkok and Pattaya. It's like around Chonburi. And they're trying to make this massive, digital park, basically this like digital community where they have lodging, but they also have a whole bunch of, like co-working spaces and that sort of thing. Now, the downside is, you got to get there like with a taxi or something. You can't just like take the BTS to it, but they're putting in, high-speed rail and all of that. So that's another option, Thailand 4.0, but I would submit to you that that's much further into the future as far as you wanting to, work and do that. But look, here's the thing. Plenty of people like you and me have come over to Thailand and been like, wait a minute. They're not like, here's one of the visions that I had coming over here for a while is like, hey, so they're not doing this specific basic thing that we do in the United States all the time. I don't know what that was at the time, but as an example, you see something like, wait a minute. They need this. They need the ability to dial 911 on their phone and have the same experience that I have in Southern California, which is 10 minutes later, there is a team of EMTs and an ambulance and a fire truck, and they just like show up and they push everyone the hell out of their way to save your life and bring you to a hospital. One could argue the downside of that paradigm is it's ridiculously expensive to deploy, and the infrastructure necessary is very, very costly, and maybe they need to spend more money on other things here in Thailand. However, the whole paradigm of 911, boop, and then all of a sudden people show up. You can even hit 911, drop your phone, and walk away. Well, they know, and that's what enhanced 911 is. That's what E911 is. They know your exact GPS coordinates. They also have the ability, if you're in the middle of nowhere, if you don't know this, part of E911 is if you've got like one bar on your phone and you type E91 and hit send, then what the cell tower that is receiving you does is it sends a signal back to your phone, increases the power of it ridiculously to the point where it will heat up and almost burn your hand, but not literally. But the point is that it allows you to potentially make that call of emergency, true emergency, without being like, oh my God, my phone's going to die. Now, if you're at the edge of that and you simply do not have RF, then of course that doesn't work. But that's one of the many features of E911. But of course, the GPS coordinates, your actual location, and of course, caller ID, right? I mean, that's another one that's a big deal. They don't have that over here. How do I bring that over here? Well, that's one of the things that we're working on with me and my business partner in San Diego, a system like that. It's not trivial, obviously. And we can't just be like, oh, well, let's just involve all of the EMTs and that. No, they don't have that. And additionally, one of the behaviors over here, when you hear a ambulance behind you blaring its sirens, isn't like, oh my God, I better pull over and, the cars start parting like the Red Sea, which basically is the behavior that you learn about and you do for your entire life in Southern California, in the United States, in Canada, that sort of thing. Oh my God, then you get it. You pull over to the right, and then you let them pass. They don't do that over here. And so it's like, okay, well, we can't just do that. Well, what do? Well, we give everybody helicopters as part of down. No, I mean, right? But the point is that along with all of the data that I just gave you to basically take what you're doing right now and bring it over here, meaning you work in front of a computer or something in country X, and now you just simply want to do it here in a 1-bedroom condo that only costs $400 a month in Thailand, and work 8 hours a day. And okay, fine. So that smart visa allows you to do that. It allows you some creativity. But I would encourage you guys that are thinking about doing the Mariano 1000 is that you come over here and you hang out for a little bit and then you leave and you hang. Mariano has done this. I know that he's traveled back and forth several times a year to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam. So he probably has a pretty good idea of it. But for those of you guys that haven't done that, come over here, and have a vacation too, right? But the point is that, get a little bit off Sukhumvit, get a little bit away from Patong Beach. Don't go to Pattaya necessarily. Go past that. Live in Jomtien. Go keep going further. Hang out with, oh God, I just forgot his name. JC's buddy that comes on his channel, Ross and Rayon. Go hang out with Ross and Rayon. Live outside of the sort of, tourist area. Get a little bit more Thai-ness into you. And realize like what's happening, what's important to these people, what's necessary for the community. And whether this is Thailand or Singapore, Singapore doesn't really need anything other than cheaper real estate. But if you own real estate, you don't want it to be like that. So I get that. But Singapore's pretty goddamn modern. But as far as like, Vietnam, Cambodia, go into these and be like, what is it that I know, like the back of my hand, basically, because I experience it every single day in my country that I could possibly bring to these people? If you want to like start a business and bring it over here. And to be fair, you may get in a community and be like, you know what, Mike, as it turns out, what they really need in this neighborhood is a bar. They need a bar that makes rum and cokes because nobody does. And I know how to do that better than anybody, so, but I'm encouraging you to do that. And my cousin, David, I actually don't really know how we're related other than the fact that we spell our last names the same. But David has been very vocal on I don't mean that in a bad way. He's been very contributory on Facebook he runs like the Somerville clan and that sort of thing. And it's a whole bunch of Somervilles. So thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you coming by as well. But yeah, however, get some sleep, bro. You can always watch his video later, for God's sake. It'll be your truth. Oh, Joe, totally looking forward to that, buddy. I honor you for that. Work online. Yeah, and again, you could do that, right? Awesome. You say Oz? Okay, cool. Thanks. Oh, am I that far behind? Am I back to the? I'm 20 minutes behind. This came in at 11:14. It's now 11:34. But yeah, Chips was good. Born Nomad Productions, ladies and gentlemen, changing the world one frame at a time. Predictive text. Yes, indeed. Robin's Nest is long gone. Oh, really? Obama opted for the real estate years ago and bought it. I just wrote about that. Seriously? Oh, like Obama, his family, they own that real estate that used to be the Robin Masters estate? I had no idea. I could have sworn because I know Oprah and Tony Robbins, they have places in Maui down there by Wailea. I could have sworn the Obamas had a place in Maui, but I guess, I believe you because obviously you wrote about it. But having a gratitude practice, I'm so happy to be here. Right on, Mr. Mitch. Honored, buddy. Thank you so much for coming by. That's really cool. Sorry, I missed that acknowledgement there. Hello, my brother from another mother. Okay, so I'm still going to get to MetText question about traveling over here and the cost and possible. Hey, Mike, what are you using for your walking videos? GoPro and what mic? So for my recent walking videos, yeah, it's a GoPro Hero 9 Black. I think that's the only one available. I don't believe they have other versions, but yeah, so that's what I use. And I used to use a gimbal and stuff, but I don't bother. I mean, the Hero 9 is just amazing at that. Right now, the mic that I'm using is a BM800 that I've modified even slightly, but it costs like $10, literally. So I know it doesn't sound good. It picks up way too much white noise. I still got to change the caps out inside. The ones that are in there are so tiny, and the tolerance is way too high. So I really need to do that to get a little bit more low end out of it. But the Behringer mixer that I go through, I really like the Behringer mixer. I saved a little bit of money, which means I lost a lot of quality, unfortunately. And I bought a Moon mixer simply because I needed 2 XLR ins for Gracie and I to have the microphone so we could do the live stream together. And arguably, I now am keenly aware of how much I spent for a mixer that I got for a really good deal because it doesn't work great. The audio quality from it is not good. And so I think I'm going to potentially send it back. We'll see how, I mean, again, the people that sold it, the company that sold it to me, the product is not defective. It's just that the quality isn't there. And so in order to get the quality I need, I simply need to buy a mixer that quite frankly costs twice as much. Potentially 3 times as much because it's got the Xenix mic processor, or the mic preamps in it, which the Behringer has, which makes it sound much warmer and much cleaner. And it's got a little bit of compression in it, whether you like it or not. And I believe that adds value. So I really need to just suck it up and get a better mixer. So that's what I'm using now. I use Sony MDR 7506s, and I've used these kind of headphones for 30 years, basically. I mean, I literally just bought these less than a year ago on Lazada for $50 or $30. I think I got them for like $30. I think I got them for like 1,000 baht or something. Killer deal. Coming to Thailand is all about geographical arbitrage, surely. Yeah. Huge benefit from coming over here from there. How about someone that is self-employed? You mean going through that that smart visa process, Joe? Is that what you mean? I'm sorry. I mean, I know I'm behind, but anyway. So yeah. So for self-employed, you can absolutely taxes are bad. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I can tell you right now that all the taxes I paid for the last time my mom had to dial 911 to get my dad to the hospital right away, I'll pay those taxes all day long. And again, I need to get right with paying taxes to be able to be like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to give my money to the government. It is my belief that they only take the money that I give them and put it to use on things that I like. So that is my belief. I'm not saying that occurs, but that's how I get over it. I'm like, yeah, all of the money that I give to them goes to basically supporting the infrastructure that supports my parents' health. Let's go with that for right now. So smart versus really, yeah, I saw that come in, and I hope I addressed that in a robust enough way. I have. Gracie and I have been there, I want to say 3 times. We've been to Langkawi. We've been to, oh God, what's the other island down there? Honey, what's the second island we went to in Malaysia? Penang. Thank you. Yeah. We went to Penang. We went to Langkawi. We like Langkawi better. It's smaller. It's less touristy. And there's less expats. And we went to KL too. I mean, just, in and out. We stayed there for a while too. We didn't really particularly like it. Everywhere we went, it was adequate, and some of the beaches are absolutely gorgeous. But the people there, we just didn't resonate with them as much as we did, say, in Vietnam, or certainly in Thailand. I mean, Thailand is or the Philippines. I mean, those people are amazing. Okay. I get a call from this same number every time I get a Lazada delivery. Yeah, so it might be my chair, which would be good. Yeah, who knows? You doing good? Nice. So anyway, so that's my phone, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna like speak to him in Thai. If they're asking for delivery, just say lobby. That's what I usually do. Either that or you just ignore them and they They like so anyway, so that's my Malaysia story. I did some videos of us, there, and we enjoyed ourselves and we were in tours, but I would not live there. We simply could not find. My point is that I believe we gave it a fair shot. We went to places that were tourist places. We went to places that were expat places. Dana, for example, I know loves Kuala Lumpur, and as far as a big city, I mean, there are a lot other bigger cities I would much rather live in than Kuala Lumpur, not the least of which is Bangkok. Obviously, that's my top choice. But second to that would be Ho Chi Minh City. Saigon was amazing, or Ho Chi Minh City was amazing. Who was it?
I have it's in Lazada, so I'm not sure. So maybe it's my belt, but there's like a note that there's like
In your Lazada?
So and then it said I should prepare in advance for like 116 baht. But I thought we paid it online.
You did.
Yeah.
You did COD again?
I don't know. No, I thought I paid it online.
Okay. What happens if you click on the look? Go to the order.
I don't know.
Anyway, I have 120. You probably have 122. You probably have 120.
No, I got.
Yeah, just in my wallet.
But yeah.
I mean, you can give them exact change if you want. We definitely got coins for 16 baht.
But I don't want to pay you double. So why?
Well, they would be pretty accurate at that. I mean, I've never had them. Yeah, just give it to the guy. I'm glad they sent you a message. That's kind of weird. We accidentally did a COD. It's a pain in the ass because, of course, you have to physically be here. Whereas with a condo, they have a lobby. They just come in, they leave it to the thing, and the lady signs for it. They send you a message on the app that we have for our condo, and then we go down. You thought you paid it already? Yeah, you can get 16 out of there. So that way you don't need to give the guy.
That's why I said just leave it in the lobby.
Yeah. But if they,
Understand me, I don't know.
well, they probably need COD. That's probably why he's probably waiting for your money. Have had to educate Siri to find me. My YouTube is just a small dumping around for the outskirts of camera tests. Not watchable. Not a lot of incentive to do. Yeah. Well, you're busy, dude. You have a full-time job. What are you talking about? Smart Visa, very interesting. Yeah, I encourage you guys to take a look at it. It's got a lot of benefit, and it's actually getting a little bit easier to get, and the benefits available from it are growing, I would submit to you. Yes, love KL, but the visa situation is part of the bear. My second home is gone, and the freelance visa is not an option yet. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't live there. I definitely do not love Kuala Lumpur. I enjoyed it, and we did some stuff, and we did the Petronas Towers and all that, but I just didn't. It certainly did not feel like Bangkok by quite a stretch, actually. So we don't go there. From now on, I'm going to see my tax as the few I need to pay to make the money I get out, so I can retire where I want to retire. I think that's a great way of looking at it, buddy. I think that's a great way of looking at it. ABM says, yeah, I saw you YouTube Ho Chi Minh City nightlife. Looked insane in a good way. On YouTube, Ho Chi Minh City life. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you are, right? I mean, I mean, where we stayed, it was like a neighborhood, basically. I mean, we stayed at these giant condos. I think it was District 1 where we stayed initially, but it was right in the outskirts of, I think like right over the bridge or something. I can't remember because it was a while ago. We pretty much took, well, to give you an idea of how long ago it was, we took Uber everywhere. And Uber hasn't been in Southeast Asia for a long time now, right? It's Grab. But yeah, we took Uber everywhere, and District 7 was pretty close by, I think. But we dug it, man. I really liked it. And I'm excited to go back. In fact, a couple of times I was going to cruise over there for a long weekend. But then COVID occurred, obviously. And so you can't just get into a plane and cruise over to you can't just cruise over to Vietnam right now. That's not happening. So Hyatt Park, Saigon is amazing. Where is that? District 1? Where did we stay? We stayed at these, I think it's like 2 two big towers in Ho Chi Minh City, and I'm trying to remember the manor. Does that sound right for you guys that are familiar with Saigon, with HCMC? We really liked so Da Nang would have been Da Nang. Actually, I thought it was Da Nang, but I was pronouncing it like to be more Vietnamese. But no, it's Da Nang, I guess. And anyway, so we were there, and apparently we were there like the 3 or 4 weeks out of the year where the weather is lousy, and then every other time it's fine, it's warm. But it was like gray, it was drizzling, it was non-committal rain. I felt like I was in San Diego in like May gray, June gloom. If you don't know, those are the two worst months in San Diego, for example, because there's this marine layer that just hovers until about 1 p.m. every day, and then there's like this pseudo fog / drizzle. There's no real rain, and so when we were there, it was the end of December, and it was like 65 degrees. It was like it's like 12 degrees Celsius outside, right? And I'm just like, forget it, dude. And so because of that, though, we took a plane down to Phu Quoc or Phu Quoc. I can't remember exactly how you pronounce the ending C that they have in there, but Phu Quoc, let's say, Phuquoc. And that island was great. We had a really nice time there. And I was really happy because, we were trying out Vietnam for the first time, and I wanted to go to Da Nang because they had, that really cool, and they have several of these throughout the country, but they had that really cool Dragon Bridge. And my belief is that we were going to stay there through New Year's Eve, and then they were going to light off fireworks above this thing. So I was like, oh, awesome. This will be like totally great. And oh my God, these hotels right on the beach are so cheap. I wonder why. And it was because the weather sucks, dude. Nobody stays here now. And so what? Yeah, now I know the wind. So what happened? Did you have to pay?
So I guess there's another one. So I guess.
Oh, this is the second one.
Yes, I guess when you cancel it, remember you said so. I thought twice.
Oh, right.
This is the one that you cancel, but it doesn't cancel.
Okay.
I paid the other one.
Could have been. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we canceled it and you paid, then you would have gotten your money back. So you're good. That's a smaller one, huh? Yeah. Oh, I should have seen if I should have had you. I wonder if there's a package for me. We have this cool app for our condo. It's called Urbanice, Urbanice. So we get like notifications. We get and then we just basically go down, and if we have a parcel, then it gives us a QR code. The woman scans it, goes back into the room where she gets it and stuff. So, good. There you go. Let's see here. Let me now go back to this because I promised I would get to this MedTech, and I'm terribly sorry. Shannon Beckett is back to e-begging and provides no content. Okay, don't go there. CBS plays TV shows I dislike. Okay, watch something else. Whatever. Jeremy's a friend of mine. So, I mean, I don't know. He does what he does, and I don't label it that. So, do you believe I do provide content, and so that's why you're here? Great. I hope you enjoy it. So, a very friend of the Cool Kids table asks for a December to February visit. So, let's say, for the sake of argument, a full 3 months. I can book a return flight for about $700, but that is to Bangkok. Awesome. I'm confused about whether the destination should be Bangkok or Phuket. I apologize. Never before sought travel advice. No worries. Okay, so first of all, this person knows, and hopefully you guys know too, that if you're going to send me a message, you do not need to and he didn't do this, but one of the things is you do not need to begin with, can I ask you a question? Because if I answer no, that would be silly. So assume that the answer to that is that's a rhetorical question, and you can ask me any questions you'd like. If we're connected on a social media platform where we can instant message, I absolutely am honored, and I'm thrilled to answer your questions if I have the capacity. So the second thing is never apologize. Unless you're doing something that's totally inappropriate and you believe it lacks integrity, well, then I would argue don't just apologize. Don't do it. But nonetheless, if you're a part of the Cool Kids table, which means you're in here other than people that make comments that are irrelevant or to bash other YouTubers, which is okay, whatever. That doesn't add value. It provides no content. Well, you added no value by saying that, as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, $700 for a round trip to Bangkok, December to February. First of all, in general, $700 round trip any time of year, I think is a very good deal from the U.S. to Thailand. Secondly, if it's December to February, coming over here in December is hardly cheap. Usually it's the most expensive month. The last 3 weeks and the first sort of 1, maybe 2 weeks of January are arguably peak season, not just high season. Do you like it? She bought an article of clothing that she's really excited about. We'll show it to you guys later, but yeah, it's good, right? Good for you. And so as far as the confusion you have, or potentially the quality problem you have of determining whether you're going to come to Bangkok or Phuket, by December, I would just buy the ticket, provided it's something you can either throw away because you don't care about the $700, or you're buying a $700 ticket that actually allows you to move it or potentially cancel it for at least a credit that's good for like a year or two, or for actual cash back. I would submit for $700 round trip ticket to from Thailand. Then you're basically looking at something that's probably non-refundable. But regardless, that's your personal decision as far as how you spend your money. But the ability to come to Bangkok and not have to quarantine by December, I would say, is going to be very high. Let me just repeat that so I'm not using a double negative. You will likely not have to quarantine for 2 weeks in December coming to Thailand in Bangkok. If you were saying I'm considering coming over in July, then I would say, well, their fantasy is that if you have a negative COVID test and or a vaccination proof that you will likely have because you're in the U.S. and it's very easy to get vaccinated over there right now, at least from my perspective. Then you will have the ability to basically, you'll be forced, twist my arm, right? Another quality problem, forced to stay in Phuket for 7 days minimum. And then after that, you can go to another province. And so therefore, as far as I'm concerned, they're forcing you to go to vacation in Phuket for 7 days. I'd say do it, dude. If you can get a round trip ticket to, now again, I would caution you, again, this is in December. So as far as I'm concerned, golden, go for it. $700 round trip from your side of the earth to my side of the earth that I'm on right now. We have a word for $700 round trip tickets in Southern California that take you from basically all of, 12 hours, right? Halfway around the world. We call those free tickets. No, seriously. I mean, it's a very, very reasonable deal. $350 each way. I mean, come on. How many of you guys have taken a one-way ticket in the United States that has cost more than $350, right? And it's been on an airline that is arguably of not stellar quality. So anyway, you feel marginalized. You don't have a wrench, Carl. What are you talking about? Hold on. Stand by. There you go. Hit refresh, amigo. I expect you. See, all you guys talk about being wrenches, but then, this silly comment about bashing somebody else's behavior on YouTube shows up. So earn your wrenches, ladies and gentlemen. Watching other stuff. So yeah, you provide content. Okay, cool. Kyle, you missed out. He was giving them to everyone earlier. Yeah, no, you got one now, buddy. You have one stuck, don't you? He went on a I went on a modding spree. No, it's just I have the ability to have so many people in here that know what the cool kids table means. And I would submit that the more that I invite you to bring your little sort of your vision through your glasses of what the cool kids table, the better it'll be. He even gave me one. Oh my God, White Wolf. How just crazy am I? I'm just off the chain. Let me just say I don't want to bring in the EEOC on this. Good. I'm glad. Whoops. I went down too far. Let me not miss comments. Let me not miss showing comments. I'm quite certain I'm going to miss comments. But me and the AOC are like besties on IG, bro. So I don't want to pull out the big guns. But I may. I just may. Just stand back, amigo. You never know. $350 just to get to Georgia in the second plane. I mean, yeah, dude, totally, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I've done that too in the U.S. I mean, right now, obviously, flying is close to free almost everywhere. I will argue, though, that Qatar, who I'm still open-minded to try, and I will likely do it because of the money I've already given them that we simply need to use up, but we have a long time to do it. And we're going to go back to Boston eventually, going back through. I've never flown over the Atlantic to get back to the United States. I've flown over the Atlantic to, oh no, I'm sorry, I have actually, because I've flown to Barcelona and back from San Diego, which takes you over there. But yeah, it's I've never gone from Asia over the Atlantic back to the U.S., so it'll be cool to go through Doha. I'm actually probably going to purposely have unless it's like the middle of the night and we'd just be sitting there in the airport. And considering what the regulations are, I was going to say I'll probably purposely have like a 12-hour layover in Doha so we can like kind of snoop around. We did that the first time we went to Singapore. We actually had a 23-hour layover in Singapore. So we actually stayed over. We had an Airbnb. We cruised around. We checked out the big Ferris wheel. Met some friends of hers that were staying over there from the Philippines. And that was how we checked out Singapore. But I'd like to do that for Taiwan too. But again, very COVID dependent. But right now you're getting pretty good. Deals. Lordy, thank you, Jesus, because you didn't have to. Well, Jesus, there, Lordy, Carl. Now that you got some power, hopefully you won't. Hopefully you wield that power to do good. Ha 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 ha. 55555, my friend. I took care of them, but it doesn't delete it on your end. Good to know. Well, that's disappointing. You would think that the API would know that. Well, I guess if it's already displayed here, then okay. Anyway, thank you, Stuck. Appreciate it. Is Thailand open for tourists? I have a month vacation from November 15th till December 15th. Daniel, as far as I'm concerned, by November, you should have no problems. Considering where you are, and because we looked at the requirements for us, for example, to come into Hawaii from here, you guys are serious about it there, as you should be. And so I believe you will have, it will be easy for you, let's just say, to either give them a piece of paper that says, hey, I've had this shot, I've had the vaccine, or to get paperwork that simply says that you don't have COVID and over the last 72 hours, you're good. But I mean, by November, again, as far as I'm concerned, you will have the ability to come over here and enjoy yourself in November. November 15th basically was usually about the time that I would start coming over here. Usually like just around before Thanksgiving-ish. November 15th would have been about a week earlier than I normally would. But from about, Thanksgiving all the way through, we had a big holiday at USD in January every year for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which was a Monday. So that was like sort of the last long, the combo of holidays. So obviously we get the Monday off, but then that's sort of a long weekend. And then, all you got to do is pretty much take 5 vacation days and, you're able to stay away from work legally for 10, right? So it's like, that's great ROI. And so I would usually return to work right after Martin Luther King Day in January. So yeah, so that I think, as far as I'm concerned, Daniel, yes, it will be the trajectory that they're heading on right now. As far as I'm concerned, But again, don't forget. I mean, obviously, there's a whole. It depends. I mean, if you had asked me in 2019 in December, should I completely save up all my money and book non-refundable everything to come over there a year from now, Mike? If you had asked me that in 2019 from sitting on the beach in Cha Am around Christmas even, I would have been like, oh, yeah, my God, everything is going to be the same this year. Just come on over here, Daniel. So anyway, I know that you're a grain of salting everything I take, I'm sure. But as far as I'm concerned, November, absolutely. Anyone who's like saying, oh, well, I'm thinking about coming over in September. I think it's going to be okay in September. But I don't know. Don't forget, like, it's a lot more locked down right now than it was 2 months ago. When Gracie got here, it was like, okay, yeah, you're going to have to do the 2-week quarantine. But it was almost like, well, maybe I should, many of you guys are saying this. I just wanted to get her here as soon as possible. But one of the things is like, well, yeah, she's going to have to quarantine now but if you wait like 2 or 3 weeks, if you wait until April 1st, If she comes over here, then she's going to only have to quarantine for 10 days. And if she gets the shot, then she'll only have to quarantine for 7 days. I mean, the trajectory was, basically by the end of April, there's going to be this panacea over here in Thailand and everything's going to be great. And that did not occur. That wasn't a long-term play, unfortunately, so now we've got sort of backed up. I pray that does not happen again, but anyway, can't decide if the woman from Ain't Nobody Got Time for Dat and the Publishers Clearinghouse winner who said, "Thank you, Jesus, because you didn't have to." Both classics. Absolutely, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you can do that, Carl, and you can quote Family Guy, you are sitting at the head of the cool kids table, my friend. I saw this earlier, I think. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Qatar treated Rike poorly. Now, let me tell you something about Rike. He is infinitely more accepting of bad customer service than I am. So if he had a poor experience, I am not encouraged by that because he is someone that obviously you guys probably know is a friend of mine. I think he's also a friend of everyone here's. Friends of everyone here, to use the English language appropriately, correctly, as far as I see it. So that stinks. I'm bummed that he potentially had enough of a bad time where he actually shared it publicly, because he's also pretty cautious of pen and tongue, as they say. So I'm bummed that I actually haven't talked to him. He said a couple of comments on one of my videos recently, and I think I watched one of his videos like a month ago or something like that. But unfortunately, I haven't interfaced with him in a long time. I miss him. I missed him when he was over here, not in Thailand, but this part of the world. If you guys don't know, actually, Gracie and I had a 2.5 week, if not at least 2 week vacation planned in the Camotes Islands, which is basically sort of off Cebu City, to meet. We were going to have a vacation. Me, Gracie, Euryce, her daughter, she was going to come down. I rented this, I was going to say cabana. That's not the right word. Oh my God. Why can't I think of the word? Not cabin. Oh my God. Bungalow. Jesus, Mike. Bungalow on the beach in the Camotes Islands. And, Rike was going to come down with V, and Gracie and I and Rike, we were all going to hang out. It was going to be like this. It was going to be like this YouTube family reunion of old guys. No, anyway, so we had planned on having a great time with him, and I still plan on having a great time with him, but it just unfortunately didn't evolve. It's too bad, really. But I'm bummed to hear about that. I'll have to ping him and ask him specifically what happened. Because, I mean, if they just lost his luggage and they took too long to get it back, I get that. That can happen on any airline and even really, really good ones. But if they treated him poorly as a human being, then I have very little interest in that. And I will begin spending significant attention units to get my money back from them. And I believe the worst case scenario, all I have to do is simply make a reservation and then send him, an email and say, I'm canceling this, give me my money back, and then likely have to wait the 5 to 7 days to hear back from anybody, but at least I'll get my money back. But yeah, I mean, so far, Qatar Airlines, they are not great in my opinion. And I'm hoping that changes. I really am, because it would be very convenient to get on a plane here, fall asleep, briefly wake up in the middle to use the restroom in a building, come back to a plane, fall asleep, wake up, and now I'm in Boston hanging out with my parents. That would be very nice if that was the paradigm. So I would like to pay that. With QR and flying business doing a 24-hour layover, QR will pay for a 5-star hotel. Doha, not that big, and you will have a nice day. That's cool. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, maybe I should. Great show, and thanks for the chat about smart visas. I will be looking into that. See you in November. Cheers. Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for coming by. It's always great to see you. And, and Chris and Carl, and I mean, it's awesome, man. I feel like it's like, hey, I got nothing to do this afternoon. Let me just turn on my computer and hang out with all of my buddies on the couch. Dude, are you kidding me? It's pretty cool. Oh, wait, hold on. What does he say about this? About the wrench? The reason for the wrench is for keeping the nuts tight. Bum. How you doing there? I see what you did just then. You know what we say to that? Do not quit your day job, Mr. Oh, I almost forgot the name of it. Born Nomad. Oh my God. I almost said Born Nomad Productions. Wait, what does he say there? We're also running a sub to Mojo's channel. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And thank you for posting that, Stuck. Good job, guy. Thank you. Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. There you go. Fully vaccinated. Yeah, that's what I figured, right? I mean, so you're golden, dude. Never mind. You not? You sure? I saw it. Hold on. Let me cruise back. Let me make sure it's there. I want to make sure you guys sub to Joe. I will post it if I need to. Yeah. There we go. Stuck in Florida. He's got a wench, so he should be able to. He should be able to tighten some nuts. Am I right, Chris? Psst, up top. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, definitely check out his channel. He's a nice guy. He's a totally cool guy, man. I can't wait to hang out with him. Not the least of which is it's going to be so convenient, selfishly, when we go back to the U.S. because he lives in Florida and he lives in a part of Florida that Gracie and I will totally hang out. When would be the right time to pursue the visa via Thai embassy, supply insurance, and vaccination certificate? So let me just verify. When you said you're going to come over, I believe you said December. Okay, so here's the short answer on that. A month before you're going to leave, you can purchase the insurance. Okay, purchase it for starting the day that you get on your plane in the United States, right? So, I mean, if you're leaving on the 16th, buy it on unless you're leaving, like after midnight, then buy it for the 16th for the next, let's say for the sake of argument, 90 days. That'll probably be the best way to do it. If you're getting a TR visa, I assume you're going to be doing it via the mail. And I highly encourage you, don't save $5, don't save $10, don't even try and save $50. Get the most expensive, fastest FedEx envelope from point A to point B they offer. Just buy that. Just do it. You'll soon forget the amount of money that you paid for this silly envelope, but it will get there when you need it to. Not necessarily when you want it to, but it will get there when you need it to, which arguably will probably exceed your expectations in the want category. And send them everything that they need. Send them 4 copies of everything. Okay. They can always throw away the paper, but you never want to have the least amount. Now, I say that based on me physically going to a consulate and them basically needing 3 copies of everything. Okay. I went there with 4 copies of everything. I'm not saying print extra paper knowing they're going to throw it away so you can kill trees. If you truly believe that you only need 1 copy of everything and you've triple checked, you're quadrupling checking, because every consulate and embassy will have the exact same requirements and then some. Okay. Some of them will have different ones. Some of them will have but they're basically needing you to prove to them that you have no diseases. You have the ability to pay for yourself and then some to go to their country. You are proving to them that you will return, and you also haven't committed any real crime. And you do that to varying levels. If you need an OA visa, then you need to get a more significant sort of background check, if you will. If you need a TR visa and you're coming from the US, I think that they actually assume you haven't broken the law. If you're coming from the Philippines and you're getting a TR visa, well, then you do need to prove to them from basically their FBI, which is the NBI. You need to get an NBI clearance that says you haven't broken the law, and you need to prove to them that just to come to Thailand for 2 weeks. Sorry. 2 months. Which is a TR visa. As far as front loading this, then technically, MedTech, you can get your TR visa 89 days before you leave, because in other words, you get a visa stamp in your passport that is valid for a 90-day window. And within that 90-day window, when you stamp into Thailand, you're allowed to stay for 60 days. But I would encourage you to get that visa received as close to the day you're departing to give you as much wiggle room when you get over here. It's a lot easier for them to nod and look at your visa that is well within the 90 days in your first 60 days in case you decide to get a 30-day extension, for them to say, okay, well, he's asking for a 30-day extension, but this visa expires like yesterday, which is okay because it's your stamp that's important. The stamp, in other words, when you stamp in, they stamp you with the time you basically need to leave. And and here's an important safety tip: before you walk away from the immigration officer, all excited to enter Thailand and go get your luggage, verify that the date on your stamp is in fact 60 days if you're coming in a TR visa, 90 days if you're coming in here on on another business visa. I used to have a business visa. I would get stamped in for 90 days each time I'd come in. Kind of thing. Or if you're coming over here and you're going through the priority lane, right? You could potentially, if you're coming over here and you have a ABET travel card, if you have a business travel card, BTC rather, if you have one of those, you get stamped in for 90 days, kind of thing. So anyway, just verify that before you walk away. I've had to hand it back to them and graciously say, oh, isn't it, because you don't say, you idiot, I can't believe you did the wrong thing. You say, oh, wait, no, isn't this 90 days? And oh, yeah, 90 days, yeah. Make sure it's an idea they have to fix it, not you forcing them to do it. I think you should be okay booking directly to Bangkok. I was revisiting that because it will likely be less expensive. However, if you can get a smoking deal coming over to go to Phuket and you want to go to Phuket, go to Phuket. I'm not quite sure whether you have more of a passion for Phuket or whether you're like, no, I really miss Bangkok. I want to hang out there for a little bit. I can always fly to Phuket for $25 is what I would be thinking in my mind once I get into Bangkok. And then, you come to Bangkok, you can get things done if you need to. It's just you take the BTS over to AIS or get your Capricorn Bank stuff done or whatever you need to do over here. Plus, Mike said they good. Wow, totally don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. I'm ignorant to that. Sorry. Are you going to do the elite visa or just continue with the business license or do the retirement one? So, Carl, currently I have a retirement visa. I have an OA that I've now extended for the year, right? Because I've been here for more than a year. So I have an OA with, extension. Right now, as of today, if I had to renew it, which I don't until October, if I had to renew it, then I would just simply renew that because I'm here like I did last October. However, if Gracie and I go back home here in the near future and we haven't gotten her a visa, what will happen is if she were to come underneath my visa right now, if we were to transition her TR visa into basically being my spouse, a spousal visa, if you will, even though she's not, I'm obviously not married to a Thai person, so it's less of a spousal visa, but it is her ability to ride on the coattails of my OA as my spouse. And therefore she is part of a retirement visa scheme. The first part of that is she gets granted a visa for 90 days, an additional 90-day extension. Then they basically transition that into a OA, which actually for her, since she's getting an in-country, would be an O, but she would be granted that long stay permission based on being part of my retirement visa. That's what we would do today. And that'll take some doing to get her that. So therefore, if we go through all of those steps to get that, then we'll probably just stick with this. If we don't have that and we go home to the United States, then absolutely, after, quite frankly, long before we land, we'll get all the paperwork together that we need to submit to the Thai embassy based on my ability to legally, for sure, get a business visa. However, it would be issued through the BOI, so it'd be a 2-year business visa, similar to the 2-year smart visa that you would get issued through the BOI. However, it would not have the sort of automatic attachment of a work permit. If I want to work, I still need to get a work permit. However, that will come shortly thereafter because, I'm going to be part of this company and I would want to be doing some work. And therefore, I think it's appropriate. I'm not going to go through the steps to get a business visa and then not get a work permit. I did that before only because the business visa before, it was one of those deals where I was flying back and forth. And it was sort of like, looking for business opportunity, looking for investments, that sort of thing. So I was using it in that form. And really all that allowed me to do is to come into the kingdom for 90 days at a time without having to leave or get an extension or that sort of thing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the restroom. Pretty exciting, right, guys? Talk amongst yourselves. I could play a video, but I really can't even think of playing one. I don't know what one I would do. So if you want to stick in through the break, I really appreciate it. If not, I totally understand it. If I come back, there's 16 of you guys right now. If there's only 6 or 7 when I come back, then we'll close it. We'll do a high five and we'll end it up. But I do want to talk to you a little bit more about this, and I will be right back. Ciao. You good? And I had that video too of me in Lumpini Park that I played as a break, thanking you guys for hanging out during the break. Thank you guys for hanging out during the break. Although I just saw that Carl says he's got to go to bed. So hopefully, go to bed all day long. Just turn the volume down on your computer and leave it streaming. Because I need the points, man. So here's the thing with the Elite Visa. There was a time where I was very close to apply. In other words, we applied and we got accepted. And it was the next step was give them your money for Gracie. Because at the time, the only visas that were allowed into Thailand were diplomatic and all of that sort of thing, passports and everything. But Elite visas were one of the way that I thought, well, shit, who knows how long this nonsense is going to occur? The only way for me to get Gracie over here is to get her an Elite visa. And I'm like, well, if I get her an Elite visa, it's a visa for 5 years. I don't have to think about that anymore. Obviously, it doesn't cost $5. But I was, to the point where we're going to do this. Here's why I didn't do it. Because the embassies that issue these visas, they need to know how to do that. Okay. And you could argue that, or you could probably accept the fact, or you could probably accept in the statement that I'm about to make, which is most Thai embassies know how to issue a tourist visa. They could probably do that blindfolded. They know how to issue retirement visas. They probably know how to issue business visas, provided you make yourself you avail yourself of, or you avail them of the necessary requirements on their checklist for yes, business visa. Bam. Okay, so they probably know how to do that pretty well. Not all of them know about this crazy ass Elite visa where you have to get a special gold stamp. If you've ever, I think Todd showed his before, but it's super gold and everything, and it's valid for 5 years, allowing for 1 year of entry each time. And of course, you can extend that in country for an additional year. You also still need to do 90-day reporting, though, with the Elite visa. I was a little bit disappointed. Again, if you're in Bangkok, you call up the Elite visa service. They come and get it, they do it, and they bring it back. But, if you're not living in Bangkok, and I think if you live in Phuket, they also have a service too. As far as I know, if you live in Pattaya with an Elite visa, you have to do the 90-day reporting yourself. Now, again, if the website is working, you can do it online. I actually need to check that. I think I need to do 90-day reporting early next month. So I will check the website that apparently I believe is working as of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So maybe even only. Regardless, so thought about the elite visa. And of course, the carrot, of course, that they dangled at the time, that was at the end of last year, was, well, it's 500,000 baht now, but in January it goes up to 600,000 baht. And I said, well, you know what? Your juvenile drop shipping way of providing urgency and getting to me purchase right now has put a taste in my stomach that basically makes me want to tell you to kiss my ass. And so therefore, guess what? I'm taking my 500,000 blocks and I'm going home. And their customer service over here was decent. Considering it is an elite visa and they advertise a significant amount of quality customer service, based on their promise and their follow through with me and two of my friends that have an elite visa, I'm going to give them about a B plus. And my minimum ante is A minus for elite type of status. My expectation of the customer service at Costco is that it's going to be quite good. And in fact, most times, because of my level of expectation of what it's supposed to be, it frequently exceeds my expectations. The customer service I received at the Walmarts I've frequented obviously before I left, so before the end of 2019, in the last, say, 5 years that I was at Walmart, regularly exceeded my expectations, because my level of expectation for Walmart customer service is quite low. And they've always exceeded that. They were always appropriate. They always gave me what I need. The price of stuff, obviously, was ridiculously cheap. But they were friendly. They didn't give me any crap, But I also didn't, find a TV set in the parking lot that was, unboxed, that had scratches in it, walk back in and lie to them and say, oh, I just bought this. I expect you to give me cash as a return. And, oh, by the way, I don't have a receipt. And so that's ridiculous, right? But the point is that the elite customer service, I expect it to be quite good. The guy that I interfaced with here, via email to get the whole process started, he was exceptional. He exceeded my expectations. He got back to me. His English was stellar. And quite frankly, the level of customer service that I received through the smart visa process that I went through, as far as gathering data and figuring out whether I was going to do it, that also exceeded my expectations. I was very pleased with them. But now that it's 600,000 baht, with that 600,000 baht, interestingly enough, that's approximately the amount of money that I invested in this company. And, you're investing in the elite visa. It is a 5-year commitment to a bucket of money that will allow you a degree of freedom that, quite frankly, is infinitely more than I have with my cute little OA, or Gracie has with her TR. But, a lot of us have sort of talked about, retiring is neat. But, Mariano's well, I really don't want to just stop working. I'm not being paid, certainly by YouTube or certainly by BKK.FM. But at some point along the way, I might be as it turns out, this whole theory that I had about being a global radio station is, the global part is correct. My radio station part, maybe we remove that. Well, that was dumb. That was short-sighted, Mike. It's not a radio station. What it is it's this damn Cool Kids table that you talked about. It just happens to be via music and discussion and two-way communication now over the internet because of this infrastructure. Who knows? But I can't imagine, but to be locked into a retirement visa for that long. If I think about what's happened in the last 5 years of my life, and then I think, oh, I'm able to predict the future and know what's going to happen for the next 5 years. Why don't I put 600,000 baht into that? I don't know. The ROI wasn't there for me. Now, again, if Thailand said, look, we don't care what's going to happen with COVID. We don't care if there's ever going to be a vaccine. We don't vaccinate people at all. We're disbanding all flight into Thailand. You can't even come over here by foot unless you have an elite visa. Then I would have been okay, it showed up in the, what do they call that, register thingy that shows up on Wednesdays that basically means it's law. It's in there. and the prime minister has stated it in English and in Thai that he will never let anybody in, then I will buy a 10-year visa for Gracie right now. And, but that wasn't the case. It was the lessening of restrictions. And in fact, the time that she actually came over here and we used a TR visa to get her over here, she didn't need a TR to get in here. She could have walked in and stamped in for a 30-day visa exempt with her Philippine passport. She had insurance and she had all the other requirements. She got her COE, she got her certificate of entry before her TR visa was approved. So as far as the embassy was concerned, as far as the Department of Health concerned, as far as the Department of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs rather, was concerned, there is this girl from the Philippines coming over that has done everything. But as far as we're concerned, she's leaving in 30 days. And then we got her the TR visa approved several days later. And so therefore, when she went to enter, they weren't like, oh, wait, you've actually got to, okay, we'll stamp in for 60 days. And, I made the proactively, I said, well, I don't care how I'm going to buy her the 90 days worth of insurance, which reminds me, I need to buy her a different policy now because, of course, the policy she got only covers her in Thailand. I need to get her an insurance policy that covers her for pretty much everywhere. I think I'm not going to get the one that also covers her for the United States because I'll just get a policy for us for the United States, just for the United States when we go over there. And it'll be as travelers. And so it'll be like a couple of $100 and it'll cover us for 30, 60, 90, well, a couple $100 for her, 300 or 400 for me, probably, because I'm older or whatever. But the point is that it just made sense at the time to do the TR visa. Additionally, I got some advice from my lawyer, which is Integrity Legal, by the way. My attorney is Ben Hart. And he is the one that gave the advice of, he said, look, if you want to bring her over here and then you are damn sure you're going to leave and get the hell out and you don't want to do anything, fine, get the special tourist visa, but you cannot change that thing at all. And after 9 months, you got to get the hell out. You can't stay, you can't change, you can't beg. It's not happening. And at the end of the day, I think we probably all know that the STV is pretty much, gone out the window. But he said, with the tourist visa, you can change that to other visas. You can get it extended. You can get it, a special extension like we're getting right now because of COVID. And obviously, they're willing to be a little bit flexible on extensions for tourists right now. And I mean, shoot, they're trying to bring more tourists in, not be like, oh, let us make it easier to kick you out. No, actually, let us have a discussion about why you might want to stay longer as a tourist because we kind of like you people. So there's that, option with the TR to be able to change it. So anyway, that's the Mike's answer to a yes or no question. How'd I do? So, thank you, White Wolf. I completely agree. I think Geo Blue, the Trekker package, is an outstanding policy. I will tell you exactly why. Customer service and solution. Sadly, I can speak to this insurance policy because I've had to use it 2 times where I thought I was going to friggin' die. I mean, I felt like crap. I don't think I was going to die, but I felt really, really bad. And I was cranky and I wanted my way and I wanted it right now. And I didn't care what it cost, and we were in the Philippines 3 a.m. there. So that worked out to our benefit because of course, 3 a.m. there was, I don't know, end of the business day in the UK, or it was, 3 p.m. in New York City or whatever. But the point is that when I called them, they answered the phone after pushing very few buttons. I was not on hold. Someone answered who was, their accent was unnoticeable. I don't know where they were from, as far as I'm assuming they were from the United States. But regardless, they said, okay, hold on. What's the fax number? And then they basically faxed a piece of paper to this hospital as well as another hospital that says, look, you do whatever the hell you want to this guy. We're paying for everything. And that was it. That was my admission into that hospital, was basically calling 1-800-GEO-BLUE, and they handled it. Additionally, the previous hospital that I was at that was certainly not on their direct billing list, that was basically I survived that hospital. Let's just say and to be fair, they did save me. I went in there with a significant amount of pain, and they were like, "Okay, dude, look, you've got diarrhea. Obviously, there's something inside you, but we don't have the lab to test it. We can give you an IV. We can give you some fluids. We can combat this dehydration right now and let you survive for like the next few hours." So fine. So they did that, but literally the receipt they gave me was on a little notepad piece of paper that I believe had the address of the hospital in it. But they hand wrote like what I paid them, and I paid them like 2, 3, 4, whatever it was, 1,000 pesos, and I was able to submit that receipt with a claim, and they paid me that money. So that was pretty awesome. I think my policy with GeoBlue, it was maybe $200 a year. I renewed that policy for at least 6 years in a row. And even though I think the first 2, 3, 4 years or 5 years or whatever, I never used it, all of the money that I ever paid GeoBlue, I got returned, I want to say probably fourfold. So as far as I'm concerned, that is the only travel insurance policy you should ever consider. They are excellent. They are wonderful. GeoBlue, Trekker Package, Travel. Now, again, I will say, obviously, there's stipulations to everything. You do need to have a U.S. insurance policy already. Health insurance policy of some degree. Give them your money. If you ever, heaven forbid, you never need to use them. If you ever need to use them, you'll be like, why do I not have these people covering me in the United States? But again, there are some limitations. You can stay in at least the policy, which I believe is the Trekker package, the one that I got, you are limited to stay in a country for 30 days. The minute you're in a country for longer than 30 days, I do believe that the policy becomes invalid. So don't try and jerk them around with that and have the expectation that they're going to pay you. If you have the, intestinal fortitude or the moral compass that you believe you can event and still use them to claim it, and somehow, you're okay with trying to prove to them that you haven't been there 30 days, I will tell you right now, they never asked for my entry stamp. Every time that I applied or called them or whatever, they never, ever asked me if I had been there for less than 30 days or how long have you been in country or will you send us proof that you haven't been, So I will just throw that out there. And I think the label of I cannot speak highly enough of them is very accurate here. So that was a yes/no question, wasn't it? Mariana, the good stuff. So much good music out there, like pairing good food with good wine can make a normal situation special. Wow. Did I totally miss something you guys were talking about? I'm sorry. Maybe you're talking about GeoBlue. Maybe not. Absurd delays to reschedule his flight, causing him to stay on for days in Cebu City. Now, okay, do you believe is that because Qatar is now again? A lot of times these airlines need to cancel these flights because they're forced to. Okay, how do they communicate that though? I mean, and every time they reschedule this flight, where they like, oh, we'll handle it. When do you want to fly? Or were they just like literally hours before you're flying, you're getting to the airport, they let you know? Because that, I think, is a determination of a level of commitment to the customer. And again, as far as I'm concerned, my experience with Qatar is that they do not have a commitment to the quality of the experience of the customer. They began every single email, I think, within the first 5 words, at least sorry was one of those each time. And I was getting sick and tired of those blanket sorry, or those sort of, non-integrous apologies, quite frankly. So anyway, they are not in my top 10. Where Gracie, what is she cooking in the kitchen? So earlier today, she made pad kapow mu kai dao, which is basically, she didn't have all of the ingredients. So normally It is chopped pork, or ground pork, minced pork sometimes, with basil, with chopped basil, fried, and then rice, and then a fried egg over it. I didn't taste it. She said it wasn't that good, but she also, didn't have all the ingredients going in. She says it wasn't that good. I'm quite certain it probably would have been pretty damn good. So, morning or afternoon, I guess. Hey, Roger, good to see you, man. Thanks a lot for coming by. Remind me where you are. I can't remember what time zone you're in. Check out Elephant Revival and Circles Around the Sun as well. Also, if you like Cajun American, Dawn of the Buffalo, I pretty much like all genres except for opera. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of opera. I do like classical music quite a bit, and I got to tell you, I'm not a ballet guy, but I have great fond memories of going to see the Nutcracker every winter as a child, because one of my classmates, Kim Cox, she was always in the Nutcracker, and I think my mom took me one or two times to see that. For some reason, I have warm fuzzies about the Nutcracker, but overall ballet, I got no use for that. But I like a significant wide range of genres, but there are some that I just simply don't like. Like, I actually really like country music, some of it, but I don't particularly like. I mean, I like some hip hop songs, but overall, I don't like hip hop. I'm a big fan of alternative. I'm a big fan of EDM. I'm a big fan of BKK.FM. Tell your friends. What was GeoBlue Tracker good for? Again, some people have not heard you say to check them out. I think I heard it when you were chatting with Thailand Rob on your channel. Yeah, hopefully I gave a good enough description. When did that comment come in? Oh my God, that comment came in like half an hour ago. Sorry about that. Yeah, so hopefully I gave you guys some reasoning behind my decision to go with them. But if I apply too early, there may still be quarantine requirement. Thus, a quarantine hotel booking would be required. So that's true. I can tell you that the experience that I had with the hotel that Gracie was at, as well as the experience of others that have gone through quarantine, that if you in fact have to change your reservation, they seem to be very accommodating about that. I mean, they're not going to be like, oh no, screw you, your 2 weeks of money is gone. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that experience. So I wouldn't worry too much about, having to do a quarantine hotel, and then, there might be a requirement, and then you do, but I get it. And additionally, I mean, if you simply aren't coming, I haven't spoken with anyone who didn't go through the quarantine, meaning they said they needed to cancel their reservation and try and get their money back. I haven't heard of anyone having to do that, and so therefore I can't speak to the experience. Oh my God, I am so illiterate. You know this. And unfortunately, I can't copy and paste actually from there. I could go over to the YouTube and do it, but I'm on Restream. But anyway, hello to you. Gotta go to bed. Get up pre-market open. Good chatting with you. Take care, Mike. Thank you so much, Carl. Great to see you, my friend. I hope you're great. Is it traveling insurance for medical? But Mike has a story of when he used it that he can tell. Yes, apparently that was. See, you guys know me so well. I'm like way behind, and you're like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'm going to ask him this question, and he's going to go on and 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 on. Just like BKK.FM. Thanks for the music. No problem. You know where you can get good music? BKK.FM. You want the link there, sport? I hope you gave it to him. Trekker is up to 70 days on the site. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. Well, right. I mean, you got to remember the last time I bought one of these policies is 2019. And so now, I mean, that's great. I can understand why they actually probably would have increased the premium. I mean, that's, understandable. I will tell you, if you get over here, you probably heard it on other expat websites. I do have Pacific Cross. It's highlighted like a lot of others. AIA is also another one that I'm definitely considering switching to. I have way more insurance than I normally would, meaning that I have like $100,000 worth, like 3.5 million baht worth, which is more than I normally would over here. But I have it because I just figured, well, you know what? It sounds to me like that's going to be the default setting for the amount of insurance you need. That also covers COVID to come in and out of countries. I mean, I think as far as I know, yeah, Thailand's been doing it. I know that for a while. But as far as I know, if and when we go to Vietnam, I'm going to need that amount of insurance. So it's kind of like, well, I'll just get this amount, and I'll probably get a $3.5 million policy for Gracie too, because it's like, I'm not going to get insurance and then get an additional. I want to get one policy, do it once a year, and then allow us to travel all over the place. So, you forgot on the motorbike story you told on Rob's team up. Yeah. So are you talking about when I got in an accident and lost 30 minutes of my life? Yeah, I didn't need insurance for that one, thank God. But yeah, the insurance cost for that when I ended up, it was, how long did I own that motorbike? I owned that motorbike maybe a week in Pattaya, and then got in a motorbike ride. Ended up in Pattaya City Hospital, if you know where that is. It's on Bukau, right down the street from where Kevin used to have his meetups. Oh, I don't have Houston health insurance. Unfortunately, I'm politically opposed to health insurance in a Western advanced country. And, I can totally appreciate that. So therefore, I will just tell you that my experience with GeoBlue, and again, like you said, obviously they offer the ability to stay in a country 70 days now. They may offer the ability for you to get travel insurance and not have to have any other. I don't know the answer to that question. I literally have not been to the Geo website in 2 years. So longer than that, actually, because when I ordered it, so the GeoBlue policy that I had, the last one I had, expired in September of 2019. But September actually, and in fact, I got my visa in October 7th of 2019. If you don't know, there was no requirement for insurance for retirees to come into Thailand until October 31st of 2019. However, I'm an insurance guy. I always have insurance. And so therefore I had it anyway, because even though it wasn't required to get my visa before October 2019, I entered Thailand in November of 2019. And I was very grateful to have insurance, because I can tell you right now, they were saying, okay, you're coming in here on a certain kind of visa. They don't look at when it was issued. They're just like, as of October 31st, if you're a retiree guy, you're supposed to have health insurance. And if you don't have it, then we're not letting you in the country, would be their default setting for a number of immigration officers at the time, because it was a new rule. It was being enacted. So it was one of those times where I was grateful that I got it anyway. My point to telling you that timeline was the fact that I likely was not on the GeoBlue website since probably October or something. Probably even September of 2018 when I renewed it for my last year prior to moving here. So an additional sort of tip, I got my first Pacific Cross insurance policy. It's one of those deals where it takes 30 days waiting period. And I purchased it 30 days before coming to Thailand. So actually that insurance policy was valid. I owned it for about 35 days prior to the day that I ended up in Bangkok. And in fact, I came to Bangkok, went to my hotel, slept, woke up next morning. First thing I did, actually, other than like maybe grab some coffee, take a shower, is I got on the BTS and I went to the Pacific Cross offices and I got my insurance policy. And so it was enacted. So, you might want to consider that if you're coming over here and you're considering staying long term, buy your insurance policy 30 days before you're going to get here. Green. Oh, very cool. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, expat. Thanks for coming by again. That's good. Temp insurance to get the vacation insurance. Yeah, that's a great option, right? I mean, why not? You could get one traveler insurance policy that isn't necessarily all that great. If you want a recommendation for an insurance policy that is not as good as GeoBlue, let me see. I can give you a link. I think I have, let's see. Is this how I do it? I have my Doodly links, right? That are like shortened, ones. And let me see. I think it might be a host name it might be insurance.doodly. Or dude.ly. And but let me verify that. And it goes to, oh God, I can't remember where it goes to. What is the name of it? It's underwritten, I believe, by Luna, sorry. But let me verify and let me see if I can't find, I'll look back through my email. I want to say there's like the word global in it. But I think I made a doodly out of it. I made a dude.ly link. So hold on. Let me see where it goes to. And Fiverr, Airbnb, alongside Nitrate. Maybe it's like traveler's insurance or something like that. I can't for the life of me remember. Oh, there we go. World Nomad. So if you go to Doodly/World Nomad. Here, I'll copy and paste it in there. If you go to that, it'll take you to World Nomads Insurance. And I can recommend them. There you go. It's in the chat. Yeah. So World Nomad, I believe their underwriter is Luna, and that will provide you with a travel insurance package that I believe that you can use to justify getting a proving to basically GeoBlue that you have some kind of insurance. So there you go. Yeah, it's pretty simple, right? Dude, you had to be at Fried Egg. Absolutely. Mazakan Bobo said, well, hello, Mike. Good morning. I can have some very tasty bread and fried flour. Ah, very good. Thank you for the translation. I appreciate it. Thanks, White Wolf. Same time as you, buddy. Nakon Tom got bought in on Virgin Galactic. Good for you. Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I made a post which was like, if I had one stock I was going to buy and hold for at least 5 years, probably 10 years, it would be Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic. They are now offering $100,000 trips to space. And which, or I could have saved that money and actually bought a $20 XLR cable like a big boy who like actually does YouTube streams and doesn't sound like a dork. But good for you. I think it's a very good stock. Thank you for the is it internationalinsurance.com? Is that someone who's just underwriting it? Because that's not the link I go to. Hold on. Geo. What is the link I go to? Yeah, I go to geo-blue.com. But that's okay. I mean, if there's like someone else who's, got an affiliate program or something like that, go for it. Your link is just as fine as mine. But yeah. So, in fact, you know what? The Geo-Blue, that may not be for the traveler's insurance. That may be for something else. But I think you're right. I think it's like, yeah. Anyway, go to his link because that will definitely take you there, and I'll have to check that out. So thanks to Mike and others for the travel information. Absolutely, Matt Tech. Glad you're here, buddy. Yeah, and then here's the link that I just threw up there if you need World Nomad. I don't think that's a. Hold on, it may be an affiliate link for all I know. I just copied and pasted because I like to. I was doing doodlies for a lot of things because it was like, hey, I'm staying at this hotel. What's the doodly link for that? Hold on. Oops. Hello. Hi. What? I'm sorry. Oh, la. Okay, lobby. Okay, cup and cup.
What's that?
Well, they call whenever they deliver a package, but they're calling me, so it's not your.
Okay, so we don't need to go there.
No. They just call each time. They leave it with the lady, but they call me every single time they leave something. He's just like Lazada. But yeah, it's not like I owe the money. I think what happens is they either potentially show up or they're potentially calling me before they get here, because it always calls me from the same number. It always calls me from. What is the number? And then what will happen shortly thereafter, in theory, is that the app for my for parcels, this will change from being an incompetent app to one I can actually use. It will change from nada to like actually a picture of the front of the package, and then there'll be a QR code, and I go down and scan it, and then she She releases it, and then I get a message from the app, your package has been released. DuckDuckGo link, since I stopped using Google about a month ago. Oh yeah, DuckDuckGo is an interesting solution. There's that, and then there's also another one that my automation system for bkk.fm uses. What it does is it basically auto searches for information about the artist, song, title, album that's available, and I need to integrate that into sort of a now playing thing. I'm considering making my own app. But honestly, I mean, I don't want to necessarily be in the app business, even though I know I'm in the technology business, right? I like TuneIn. They provide, like enough sort of like, the album art and then the title and the artist and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like, I'll just stick with those guys. But I think I may actually end up using a service, using a company, and having them make an app for me, because I was talking to Mariano about this actually. And he and I were sort of on the same page. It's like, well, hey, here's how you might be able to get people really engaged with the station. Now, I have made a Discord group or Discord channel, or potentially it could be labeled as Discord server, which arguably is not really technically accurate nomenclature, but nonetheless, I believe people say that. Like, I have a Discord server. It's like saying I have a Facebook server. It's like, well, no, not really. Not as you. These not in the way the traditional way you define server. So anyway, because what I was thinking about Discord is that there could be sort of a live chat thing, and that's really what I'm trying to accomplish a little bit more with bkk.fm than I am with others things. Is, it's funny too. To Rob's point, I just realized that the most current comment is the one at the top, and that's the one that displays behind your logo. And you could argue that that's silly. The most recent comment really should be at the bottom, and or you should have the ability to move your logo so that the current comment isn't being covered up. I wonder if I can change that. If I go over to here to graphics, I mean, obviously I can, turn it off, right? But on logo, I wonder if I can change that so that, here's another one that I could put up there. But yeah, it immediately goes over the thing. So that's kind of a drag. And I can't change where it is. I literally could do a screen share with you guys right now. I could reach out to their customer service and they would get back to me within 15 or 20 minutes, like live right now. And then we would have the discussion with someone with some technical competence, actually. So I am very pleased with Restream.io. Now, I haven't really needed any technically competent service with StreamYard, but I can tell you that the interface I have had with their customer support / tech support is that you do not get elevated to anything past level 1 unless you're basically like, the entire thing broke. Oh, by the way, I had 10,000 concurrent streams and I'm paying you royalties money just out of the goodness of my heart, StreamYard. Then it seems like they actually want to speak with you. But as far as like a regular paying hello customer, their responses to two of my questions that I would submit are very different technically were, make sure you're closer to the wireless router so that you have good internet. And I'm like, getting closer to the wireless router won't help me because I use Cat 6, dude. Cat 6E connected to my router. Bozo. No judgment, but judgment. I'm unhappy with, are you unhappy with Shopee? I'm invested in Shopee. I am not unhappy with Shopee. I am actually as happy with Shopee as I am with Lazada. I have reasonable expectations of every other online ordering company outside of Amazon. Nobody is Amazon. And they should spend as much money as they can possibly afford, along with the attention units, to try and reach the service level to the customer of Amazon. If you don't know the mantra, the culture, the agreement of being a partner with Amazon, because I'm not an Amazon.com partner. I'm an Amazon Web Services partner. I'm part of what's called APN, the Amazon Web Services Partner Network. And they teach you about Amazon as part of being about this. They teach you about the technical of Amazon Web Services. They also teach you, and at least about 25% of all the certifications you get with Amazon Web Services, is they teach you about how to, believe it or not, save the customer money. Specific questions in the certification tests are, this customer has this service, this service, this service. How would you save them money? Would you transition them to another service? Would you have them fill out a longer term contract? Would you decrease the quality of the service? Would you go from 5 nines to 4 nines in order to save them based on the amount of, the kind of data they have, or whatever. And so that's part of it. But it's easily in the top 3 of the things that you learn about Amazon. Economies of scale, obviously, is sort of the back end thing, always saving the obsession with the customer. They're not just like good customer. No, I mean, that is literally, those are the words in the plaque on the wall to be part of Amazon Partner Network. Obsession with the customer. You're not obsessed about top line revenue. You don't really give a shit if you're saving yourself money and generating more profit for your company. Obsession with the customer. And I don't know of any other company that says that and walks their talk. There's plenty of talk about wanting to make the customer important over at Alibaba. And Alibaba Cloud, their customer service is a lot better than it used to be. Nothing is Amazon. And so Shopee does a Shopee experience. I will say that in Thailand, the Shopee experience is not as good as Lazada, and here's what I mean by that. I can get the same exact physical product shipped to me in the same amount of time, in decent enough shape, for the same amount of shipping cost. Basically, I can get the same price on the same item. Great. However, Lazada has taken the time to really make sure that when you click on the button that says English, like everything's in English, all of the communication is in English, and the majority of the items that they have displayed on there when you click on English are displayed in it. There's still some shops, there's still some sellers on Lazada, fulfillment by Lazada, that don't do a good enough job at describing their product. So in the description, there's still some Thai in there. But the good news about Google Chrome, in my experience, is that Google Translate, that I have automatically set to say whenever you see Thai text converted to English, it does a pretty good job of that. So I don't have that issue. But all the communication I've ever received from Lazada is in Thai, with the exception sometimes in the Lazada app when I'm using chat with the seller. Sometimes that doesn't auto convert to Thai. Sorry, from Thai to English. Now, Shopee, I've gone through all of the things to make sure all our communication is in English and that sort of thing. It's very common over here. Like, so for AIS, for Bangkok Bank, that sort of thing, I go in, you go into my profile and you like upload an avatar, or you make sure your address is correct. You put your phone number in. Many of those services I've already gone through and it chose your default language. And so I've done that with my cell phone provider. I've done that with our internet provider, which is the same company, different website. Anyway, so the point is that I've done that with my profile in Lazada, and I've done that with my profile in Shopee. And I will tell you that Shopee, if I didn't have auto translate from Thai to English, pretty much all of their email communication to me, I would not be able to read or understand, because it is always in Thai and it is only in Thai. Whereas Lazada, because I've chosen communicate to me in English, they send me an email and the entire email is in English and the entire email is in Thai, all in the same thing. So it's fantastic. Any textual conversation I've had with Lazada customer service, potentially it will start out in Thai, and all I do is I type in the word English, enter. Okay, hold on one moment. Bam, there's someone there. It's not like, oh my God, I got to go down the street and like get my buddy Steve so he can. No, they have people like sitting there waiting. Shopee, on the other hand, again, there's a little bit of delay. Every single product I've ordered on Shopee has shown up as the correct product. It has shown up in a reasonable amount of time, and the price has been decent. So depending upon your level of expectation. That is what you will have with Shopee. You know someone who makes apps, just call me. I do, but you got to remember that like right now, I'm generating $0 per day with Bangkok with BKK.FM, and I believe that quality services should be paid for, and so my budget that I allocate for BKK.FM goes right now to the amount that is necessary. I do have AWS credit for a startup program with AWS, and so therefore it affords me the ability to have basically free AWS services, which is the perfect price for a startup. But there are also other credits that I use, for my virtual servers, for my virtual private servers. The software that I have, believe it or not, the main sort of code that runs the automation software, that is free, believe it or not. And then the add-ons are like $16 a month or a one-time $12 a month, one-time $12 fee. So I have the expenses for BKK.FM dialed back pretty lightly. And every now and then, so for example, right? So I got $10 from one of the guys here, and that will pay for an entire month of streaming, probably out of the Chicago virtual private server. So, but I'll also use it for food because there's spillover for sure. And I'm trying to remember who sent me that. I apologize. See, that's the other thing I'm trying to work on is a API call that I can make. Right now, I'm a big fan, actually. Of Postman, which is like basically a service, a website, if you will, that allows you to make API calls pretty simply because I'm not a big coder. And so therefore, I don't have the ability to just take an API thing. And anyway, so my point is that I get to use other services for that. And I don't really have to pay a whole lot for it. Right now, I would say my monthly cost for BKK.FM is definitely less than $100. Chris, of all people, I can't believe I forgot you. I apologize, sir. You were the one who sent me $5. $10, and then, Robbie, walking in my shoes, he sent me $5. So thank you to both you guys. That will go to some BKK.FMing. I also believe that notification I got, I bet you it's the package that I got that is shown up there. Nope, turns out it's not. But usually if they're like, no, look, did you need to come down and sign for something? A lot of times they'll be, Bangkok Podcast just updated me. Those guys are really, really cool. In the sense that especially when I was in the US, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm not in Thailand, I want Thailand. I want to go to Thai restaurants. I want to hear them speaking Thai in the kitchen. I want to go get a Thai massage just to sit in the lobby to smell the incense. I want to know about, and I listen to and watch several, Thai vloggers, right? And as well as podcasts. And the Bangkok podcast, those guys are really good. I mean, they're they are PBS quality podcasts. They do an excellent job. They have a great mantra that they do. They have a great sort of exaggeration of their core presentation for that day, but it is totally appropriate. They don't go way off onto tangents, quite frankly, like I do. I mean, I started this thing off with gratitude, which then, now we're having a discussion. And then we talked about visas and we talked about travel. And then we talked about apps and we talked about Postman for doing API calls, right? So, I mean, I'm all over the map, but I like my map. I really like my map. You walk this map, you'll end up at the Cool Kids table, I promise. Do we still truly have 16 people that have been staying here? I really, really appreciate that, you guys. That's totally awesome. If I go to the YouTube channel and hit refresh, it tells me there are 19 watching right now. I am honored by that in a huge way. I'm a little disappointed that the number that's displayed here on restream.io is inaccurate, considering the technology to basically make a call to someone's YouTube channel to find out the amount of people that are watching, I could do. So therefore, I expect the company that basically their job is software and making API calls to be able to do that with even increased accuracy over mine. But no. That is interesting. You're interesting. Thanks, Matt Tech. Appreciate it, man. Tangents are fun, and they're like, yeah, exactly, right. I'll tell you what, he does some really cool marketing things and some really cool engagement opportunities with his channel. Not the least of which was his T-shirt, right, that says "I want a Thai wife." I totally get. I mean, that is incredibly cool. It's very like Rob-esque, right? I mean, if you've met the guy and you've sat down and you know, he's very much like he is on camera, right? He's just sort of him. And I mean, he's a little bit less camera, right, when you're with him. Whereas I'm pretty much like this. I mean, I don't know if I met you in the elevator, I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. How you doing? Shh, BKK.FM." I don't know if I do that. I might. Actually, if I would. When I meet Joe, I will do that. But the point is that you know, the way that I am, the way that Gracie and I are, sort of on camera, I mean, that's the way we are. And Rob is very much, he's in the sense that he's very genuine. But he has like that neat sort of sense of humor, right? So it's like, hey, yeah, if I had the T-shirt with the, you know, so he's cool like that. And his squirrel thing it's so simplified genius, because it's like, look, this is something that I've talked to on my channel and only on my channel. Like, in other words, I don't know what members. I mean, I can turn that thing on, but I was thinking about it this morning in the kitchen. I'm like, what would I do differently? What would I do in addition if I were to like open up the membership for people and provide? Because I mean, you know, bless their heart, I think I have a lot of friends on YouTube and they have the membership thing turned on. And I got to tell you, is from my perspective, I mean, I pay them money and I get some stuff earlier, but I don't necessarily get extra. I mean, over the course of 30 days, I don't get extra because I get something early. Well, then 4 days later, I'm getting it at the same time as someone else. And a lot of times I don't have time when they notify, hey, members, my video's out and it's to you early. Well, I'm like, okay, well, I don't have time to watch it. I got other stuff. I queue them up and then I watch a bunch of their videos 4, 5, 6, 7 days later, a lot of times taking notes. And I love these guys. I mean, one of them is I only met him for a short amount of time, but I consider him a very good friend. He has a lot of integrity. He has a lot of follow through. He's a young guy. He's experiencing Thailand, quite frankly, the way I wish I did it at that age. I don't wish teaching English on anybody, but the way that he describes it and his experience with it, he was able to teach kids and he loves these kids, you know, and he's like, he loves his job. Right. And so whether it's teaching English or sweeping floors, he's like, dude, God, I like grabbing the broom. I like the way the floor looks after I'm done with it. I'm very proud of that. I don't ever leave any sort of thing. I'm a really damn good floor sweeper and I get paid, you know, however much I get paid. But he's touring Thailand right now. Right. On his little motorbike. You probably know who I'm talking about. And, well, I'm not going to be clandestine. It's, you know, it's pate doyle and his sack of potatoes. I really like the guy, and I pay whatever the thing is monthly. I don't even know what it is. And, you know, I get notifications. I don't need to get them early, you know. I don't have time, but I like the guy, and I contribute to that. And actually, now that I remember it, the reason I know that I do is because I changed debit cards at Casacorn. And that reminds me, I actually need to repay Jeremy for his membership thing because I signed up and then 2 to 3 days ago, my membership came up with Patty and it said, oh, your membership's canceled. Last night, for example, our membership with Netflix got canceled because I had to change cards. And so I need to redo it. Anyway, my point is that I have this with some friends. I've tried it with some friends. And again, you know, I don't feel gypped. I don't feel like I'm like wasting my money, you know? But you know, in all honesty, it's like the value add there in the membership. It's not, you know, I mean, all I'm doing is giving the money and I do that happily. But I mean, it's not like this big extra thing. And so, whereas I'll give you an example. I don't actually know if he has membership and he's doing it through this, but you know my buddy, right? I mean, we're very good friends. Idea Studio, Dana. His membership, I believe what he is doing through his membership is providing a bag, which he makes these, you know, like purses, basically. It's like a bag, a purse. He calls them an EDC bag. I'd never heard that before. Everyday carry, apparently, is what that stands for. I guess my backpack is an EDC bag because it's an everyday carry. I guess it qualifies. But the point is that he's making one of these things that is, it will last longer than your house. It's very well made. It's easily worth in a retail outlet $200, and he's giving this to his members because they give him, emotional contribution. They also give him financial, but they give him, praise when it's needed. Not when it's needed. Sorry, when it's deserved. So he integrate and he does that. That's cool. That's great. And I was on Rob's what do you call it, membership thing. But then it was one of those deals where it's like I had to switch PayPal accounts. That's what it was. And so I just didn't bother renew it. I didn't bother thinking about renewing it even until just now. And I love Rob, and I don't mind giving Rob money. I mean, I've always said to Rob, I said, look, dude, rather than give you like $4 a month or $5, do you want like $100 right now? Like, since we're hanging out to each other, do you want $50? Here, this is a lot easier. This is a lot more efficient. I'll just give you, or I'll buy you dinner, or I'll buy you whatever. I mean, we've been out to dinner. I think I've easily bought him. I think the last time we went to that burger place in Kamala, I bought him a burger, which was stupid because we should have gone down the street and gotten rice for 60 baht. But the burger was like 450, So I mean, my point is, it's not so much the value that I expect to get. It's just my experience that, like, sorry, it is my belief that I would need to offer something more significant than I can think of offering right now via this membership paradigm that YouTube has, that I don't know what to do. I don't know what additional I should add. Whereas basically, for the sake of argument, my Cool Kids table, our Cool Kids table over here at Live My Ass Off, those are Rob's squirrels. Those are Rob's squirrels. He has this posse. He has these people that really like to follow him. And when they meet him, I've never had him, oh yeah, I met him. He was a complete jerk. I've never heard anyone say that. I mean, either that or I'm just not, I selectively didn't have my ears open when someone said that, but I can't imagine anybody saying that about him. And so therefore, I haven't turned on membership. And they email me regularly to remind me that I have the ability to generate more revenue for them. I just don't want to, because I don't believe. I would much rather do this. I would much rather turn off my monetization and have you guys occasionally basically throw money up here or buy me a smoothie. So here's the thing too, is just so you know, I mean, if you don't know, giving money to someone via YouTube is the easiest way to give Google money. Okay. And that's fine. I'm a Google shareholder. So every time someone pays and they say, oh, no, don't pay through that, you're giving them 30%. I'm like, hello. I've owned Goog for a while, dude. So you give Google all day long. Please support their top line revenue paradigms as much as you can, because as a stockholder, as a shareholder, I believe long term I will benefit from that. So I have no problem with you giving money to live giving money to Gracie, giving money to live my ass off through there. That's fine. But if you do care about that sort of thing, and for example, you're like, screw Google, I'm only using DuckDuckGo, then if you don't need to, but if you wanted to, PayPal, right? But buymeasmoothie.com is a really neat way to do it, because I believe it allows us to communicate back and forth through there. That it doesn't seem to work real great, though. It's like, because Joe pretty much is the main guy. So he goes to buymeasmoothie.com and he shoots me like $5 or something like that every now and then, which is awesome. I appreciate it greatly. And Gracie and I eat for an entire day on that, which is awesome, right? And when you guys come over here, I highly hope that Gracie and I will be able to buy you guys a smoothie and feed you for a whole day or whatever. And no, we're not going to we're not going to the Argentine for a day. Seems like a connection issue. Is that YouTube? Ah, I'm not seem disappointed. Bad because uh, oh, is it you? Service for me, but for God, go to YouTube. Love of God. Well, I hope I'm still live on these platforms, because if I'm not, then obviously I'm just talking to my hand. Let me see here. If I go to my Facebook video, which is also not refreshing with any degree of relevance, with any degree of reliability, rather. All right, I'm still live. Gracie says I'm still live. Facebook says I'm still live. Facebook is not appearing. Facebook, why are you so... Oh, God. I'm going to have to watch back through these, because as... Hold on. Gotta mute. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, it looks like I'm back or whatever. But boy, oh boy, does that bug me. You guys know how much that bugs me. Would you care for me to elaborate on how much that bugs me? Anyway, thank you for sticking with. If I go over here, it now does not display any longer how many people I have there. But it looks like we have 16 watching on YouTube. So awesome sauce. On Facebook, breaking up too. Thank you for that, Todd. What a drag. Well, I'll have to figure that out. You want the girlfriend t-shirt? As far as I know, you can still order that. Teespring or Ping Rob. And I'm 17. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate the increase. Thank you. My ego is fragile. If you guys know me well enough, you know that that's a very true statement. 17 watching on YouTube. Look at that. Not a winner. I do kind of want to figure out why that was, though, because remember before when I would use the my Chromebook, right? And before I had this laptop, before I had Cat 6 directly to my router, and it would freeze, right? Remember, like in the mornings, and that would usually be around 10 o'clock. It's about 1:15 right now that happened. So anyway, and just so you know, the way that it works when you're doing a live show is if anything technical ever goes wrong, you never make a point to bring it up as a topic on the presentation. So do as I say, not as I do. You guys good? All right, good. Going down the YouTube rabbit hole. I'm a fan. You know, there wouldn't be the rabbit hole if someone sometime didn't be like, oh my God, you're going down the rabbit hole describing someone else's behavior. And that person at the time was like, I kind of like where I'm hanging out. I may click my heels together in any minute, but unless we're in Kansas, it is not happening. Not happening. Love you, Joe. I'm glad you're still there listening. Still on, baby. Still on. It's only been 3 hours. I mean, what the hell? I will say I need to figure out a better. Oh, well, so one of the things that I recently ordered was a replacement chair. If for no other reason than I was leaning back in my chair about 4 days ago, and the welds on the chair broke. This is like my office chair that I was using, cost about $1,000 baht. The welds broke. I fell back in my chair, feet up in the air, slammed on my back. It concerned Gracie. The good news is that I wasn't harmed in any way other than my ego. And I think my feet went up and kicked the table and something shook, but I don't think anything fell on the ground or got damaged. But I've ordered a replacement chair for that, which is supposed to be a much better quality one that's padded and it's got nice arms and it's, because that one, the bottom, the seat was, I could, when I was sitting on it, if I sat the wrong way, I could feel the metal bars. So arguably, I probably should have paid a little bit more for that, which I've done on this new one. This new chair, ladies and gentlemen, is a full 1,400 baht. So $43, including shipping, for one of the world's best office chairs will be my expectation. I will inform you on whether my expectations get met or exceeded upon delivery. EDC is from the preppers on the net. Oh, yeah? What, Electric Daisy Carnival? Is that what you mean? Sorry. I just went all EDM on you. They came up with it when they had preppers on Discovery Channel, plus the term bug out bag from SHTF plan. Shit at the fan. EDC is from the preppers on the net. EDC. Oh, I'm missing something. I am not Cool Kids Table right now. Oh, I'm bummed. You're gonna have to educate me. Right now, because of the beer bug, I have time and no money. So you got my time. Right on, dude. That's awesome. I was like, what are you doing? Well, I can either do something productive or watch Mike on YouTube. I think it's YouTube again. I don't know. I'm gonna go 51% YouTube, 49% Mike's internet connection. So we'll see. I join memberships to help support the channel of people I watch regularly. I don't really expect that. Yeah, and that's sort of where I'm at right now. However, as a producer and of someone who has the ability to turn on a membership switch, I don't really believe that it would be something helpful. I don't believe that it would be an offering that I should have on my channel. I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, shoot, there's the core group of cool kids right here. There's 17 people watching right now, which is, quite frankly, that is a full cool kids table as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, you let me know. Should I bother, or what should I spend my time on? There's a question for you. What should I spend my time on? Because I think I'm doing something that adds value globally as well as to the relationship with Gracie and I. When we can travel, we will. It is Thursday. I really hope that tomorrow, Friday, we get Gracie's passport back. We would actually have already been to our appointment at the Philippine embassy, and I believe had the paperwork necessary to prove to the world that she can get married to me, who can already have paperwork, that already has paperwork to prove I can get married to her. Had our passport only been needed to be taken for a few days, but I guess they need around a week to decide whether they're going to give us this thing. So the attorney states that we will get her passport back tomorrow. As you might guess, the passport is a requirement, or at least some severely legal, piece of identification is necessary to get into the Philippine embassy. So we don't have that, and our next appointment is therefore on Tuesday, because I gave it a little bit of slop, thinking potentially tomorrow we may not get her passport back. We will get it back eventually. I'm not worried about that. It would just be nicer to be able to do that. So I believe the next course of action is go to the embassy, get our paperwork so that we can get married, then start traveling more. But you guys might be like, no, Mike. No, Mike. You should be doing this. I'm just curious. Not necessarily tell me to do, but I was just curious what other people think other people should do. I travel a very light, small backpack. If I brought luggage, I could bring small requests from expats if there is a need. I appreciate that. I have done that before. The good news is there was only one guy that wanted to take advantage of that again, wanted to. He tried to. You let people take advantage of you. I did not let this person take advantage of me. I put up a healthy boundary, which was the response of no. Don't be a dick, dude. I'm not doing that. But I know what you mean. And a lot of people do that. That's pretty cool. The people that do travel light, they come over here and Rob has the squirrel. You have the pigeon cam. I really should get pigeon. Well, see, again, with this, it's sort of anticlimactic because it's either me, pigeon cam. And I was watching back a little bit of the replay yesterday, and I noticed that the transition between this and pigeon cam is there's a lot of pause. It's hardly an elegant switch. So I'm not real familiar with that. So the next time I come online, I will likely be using OBS, and I will be probably able to very elegantly switch between camera A and camera B. Otherwise, Chris will be like, dude, that dissolve? No, that was horrible. Drop for about 5 seconds and now frozen vid and audio. And you typed that at 15 after it is now 20. Hopefully it is good now. I'm not about that. Yeah, and Todd tells me it's breaking up on Facebook too. It broke up on Facebook. Well, that's disappointing, as you know, for me. I appreciate you guys hanging through it and toughing it out. Haven't checked baggage number 20 years. Yeah, I check baggage sometimes, most of the time. Okay, so recent local travel I've done. In fact, quite frankly, all of the travel I've done in the last year here in Thailand has been carry-on only. And I know I love it. It's awesome. But I also get places and I'm like, oh, I don't have this. Or I really wish I could have brought in a second one of these just in case. Or, oh, bummer, I don't have one of these here with me now. I need to go buy one. I really wish I didn't have to do that because I have 7 of them back home. I should have just brought, and so, that's pluses and minuses, right? But at the end of the day, I've never been without. I've never gotten what I needed somewhere. So if it's on a Rob's site, as you know, I'm watching when he pops it after Thailand and the world reopens again, then I can get one. Ah, got it. Was it the welds or the post the wheels? No, White Wolf. It was the welds. So there is the back, right? And the back basically it was mesh. It was that sort of mesh fabric that goes around. And so therefore there was this pipe that was basically the entire back. It was like a round, it was a square back, right? With some bends in it and stuff and for arch support and everything. And then it had the mesh that like basically just slid over that. It then came to a bottom and then the 2 pieces of the pipe were at this metal plate. The metal plate was held into the base of the chair with 4 Allen head screws. And where those 2 pipes went in and welded. And the weld was at least an inch long. It was an inch or 2, but obviously it was either a dry, no, is that right? Cold solder joint, or it was just, really cheap. What it looked like actually is that the pipe metal ripped. Because you guys know a lot of time, I mean, when you like solder 2 things together, a lot of times the solder is the better sort of that has more integrity. That part of it has more structural soundness. The weld is, and then a lot of times it's what you're putting together that piece rips off. So I believe that's what happened. Anyway, I was like, okay, well, this is a binary discussion. This chair is either functional or it's not, and it was not at that time. And I thought, okay, 1,000 baht in the last year spent on this chair. Got my money's worth. I'm good. So then I brought it downstairs, threw it away in the dumpster, meaning that I brought it to the dumpster. And then they were like, no. They didn't want me to put it in the dumpster. I believe they wanted to use the bottom of the chair for something else, which they did, I guess. So now I have a new chair on the way, hopefully. And I hope that will be coming fairly soon, rather. Let's see here. Rob just sent me something about YouTube about open mic. So cool. I may check that out. Thank you, Rob. Look at that. 18 watching now. OMG. I am just banging up against the rails of success here. And as you know, Joe, absolutely. If we measure that in Filipinos, that is 18 million shakas along the trick I don't understand. Okay, it says I'm having connection issues again. Am I having connection issues again? This is very I really don't want to have to switch providers. But there she goes. Nice. I may have fat fingered the letters. Oh, okay. I will be good with you and pay for it. Just need to see more time on the beach. Oh, is this for the if I do the membership? You'll need this event. Everyday carry. Yeah, I had the letters right. Oh, EDC bag. Got it. Everyday carry. The bag you have, all you might need to get out of the bad time. Yeah, I've never heard of EDC for everyday carry until I met Dana. Sometime on my own self. Every weld is strong by tenfold in the metal. I was wondering about that. Thank you, White Wolf. I figured it would either be you or MetTech, actually, that would be able to answer that. I was never curious about. I was always curious about that. I knew that though I think I knew that about welds, but I wasn't sure. But pretty awesome, right? So anyway, yeah. So the metal effectively ripped. It was not really that great. She's so awesome. Isn't it great? That's how great our relationship is. She literally is behind this wall, but we're connecting over the internet. I wonder how far the data went between her phone and me just seeing it now, when in reality it is 6 meters if you were to walk around the corner and into the bedroom. Yeah, pretty awesome, right? Again, really, seriously, again with the hiccups. Dude, I am... And done. Yeah, dude. It's not cool. Certified welding carpenter for 5 years. Wow. Nice work, dude. That's awesome. Then a truck driver. Yeah. Okay, remind me. Is your route the one Washington State? Within Washington? I can't remember what is it. Anyway, remind me what your route was. I remember you shared that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or maybe you don't do that anymore. Maybe that was someone else. I apologize. $200 health insurance quotation from World Nomads for 8 weeks in the Thailand vacation. Now, I cannot speak to their customer service. Now, I know it's with World Nomads, but who is the underwriter? If it's Luma or Luna, I can't remember I think it's an M or an N. I can't remember. They're pretty good, actually. I had an annual traveler's insurance policy for Gracie and they were good. But yeah, please let me know who it's underwritten by, and then I can speak a little bit more possibly to the customer service you can expect. How is Mike Lockwood, Sarah? You need to say hi to him on camera. Yeah, Gracie, why don't you come over here and say hi on camera to the guys? If I'm still on, if the internet is still working, for God's sake. Oh, here's what Bangkok sent me. Hello, we have an idea for a show on the annoying parts of being an expat in Bangkok and thought it'd be fun to get your input. Do your friends take advantage of your status here? In what way? Oh my goodness. Look at this. Yay.
I'm shooting video on my...
Are you doing a TikTok? Nice. And how many? Do you have 9,000 yet? Close.
Sadly.
Life is over. Hey, what are we gonna have salmon tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, cool. Have you had lunch yet?
No.
It's totally lunchtime.
I know.
You need to eat.
Yeah.
If she doesn't eat, she gets unhappy. Not just like emotion, like disappointed. I mean, like her stomach will hurt. She'll physically have physical pain if she does not eat. It's very bizarre. Whereas I, of course, as a high fructose consuming overweight white male from America, I know all about making my stomach hurt. I eat too much. Oh, that sounds great. Chris, don't you just love that? Chris is like, Mike, they make good XLR cables in China, right? Anyway, so what were they saying? So if you guys don't listen to the Bangkok podcast, maybe we can go through this now, and then I can send them a clip of this and say, well, here's a sample, then just one. Here's a sample size of 17. Do your friends take advantage of your status here is the first question. In what way? A few things we thought of. 1, my cousin's roommate you've never met is coming to Bangkok. Can you show them around? That's pretty good. As someone who does not stay in a hotel, can you send some hotel recommendations? I get that. Because you're an expat, right? You don't stay in a hotel. As someone who's lived in a condo for the last 3 years, what hotel do you recommend we stay at? I get that. Can you tell me blank? Insert a question that would take 5 seconds to Google. Yes, I am in Facebook groups about technology for radio stations and other things. And people ask questions in there that I'm like, I am just dying to copy and paste that into the let me Google that for you and just respond that way. So, yeah, that's pretty good. But, yeah, the Bangkok podcast, these guys are cool and they're very interactive. I mean, obviously, they're just like pinging me saying, hey, so do you? It doesn't have to only be about your friends' questions. Are there any other ways that people try to exploit your expat status? Hit us back. So yeah, and to give you an example of like what I really want to do regularly with BKK.FM is it's engage with the people that have spent more than 5 seconds or more than 5 hours, quite frankly, listening, and I think that's a great way to do it. And I just got a notification, by the way, New York Hardcore Todd. I think he just uploaded a video about him being at some beach. No, you can just throw it in the fridge though. Just cool off. Thank you. No, I'm good. Are you gonna have something? All right. Oh yeah. See, so here's what I'll give you guys an example. So here's what happens now on this app that just got so what happens is now it shows up and it says, okay, so here you go, dude. Here's your package. And they take a picture of the front of it. So obviously it's not a chair because it's the size of someone's hand. And additionally to your Shopee, and then I scan this QR code, and then all of you that are watching this video can now show up in the front of my lobby and get my package for me. And of course, she'll look at you like, Kunmai? And there's no way you're getting the package. So there you go. I knew I stayed away for. Isn't she great, dude? Yeah. I hope you come over here soon and we get to meet her. Stuck. She's cool. Nice to see you. Absolutely, Joe. Agreed. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Gracie, now you've been living in Thailand for some weeks. Is there any appreciable climate difference between the Philippines and Thailand? So where we are, I will. You here, honey? The guys have a question for you. There, hold on. Let me invite you. Would you like to come in on the stream from your phone? Yeah. This will be true romance, guys. I could absolutely have her join me on the couch, or I could have her join the stream. Just click on the link I just sent you in WhatsApp. Okay. Never mind. They would much rather see you in life, in real life anyway, honey. Yeah, so the question is, she's very tired. We've been very busy today. So now that you've been living in Thailand, the question is, do you notice any difference in the weather from the Philippines?
No, I guess it's just the same.
It's the same?
Nothing. I guess it's just the same.
You don't think it rains less here?
Here?
Yeah.
It's the same. It rains as well in the Philippines.
More though. Rains more in the Philippines.
Yeah, but like April and May, it doesn't really rain. It's summer in the Philippines.
Yeah. But December, a lot more rain.
Yes, a lot more rain in December. Actually, December it doesn't rain as long as there is no typhoon.
Oh yeah, that's true. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because it's not rainy season.
Yeah. But other than that, is it hotter there or hotter here? I mean, Bangkok's hot. Bangkok's hotter than Phuket, right? Oh, wait, here.
Yeah, it's hot in here. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's a lot of tall building. That's why the wind.
Oh yeah. No, Bangkok. So, yeah. Bangkok's much
so
hotter.
I guess that's just the reason.
Yeah, but that's about it.
And actually, maybe it's just the same. It's just because in the Philippines during like 10 o'clock until 3 or 2 o'clock, there is really like nothing people who's coming out, just like walking around.
Oh, in the village,
it's the hottest.
Yeah, in the countryside, sure.
Yeah,
that's true. Maybe more people are more outside because even in Phuket, right? Like during the day, there would be people outside. It would only be me and you, but
actually, when sometimes I do like shopping for the stocks in the shop, it's also hot because I need to just
Manila,
walk.
yeah.
No, not in Manila. Even in Rojas. So I just need to like walk from one wholesaler from another.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're gonna ride a tricycle, then it will gonna be like a long way because it's always a lot of one way.
Yeah. So you have to turn around and make circles. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So just walk. That's all.
Nice. Let me see if anyone else asks you a question. Oh, Washington Bakersfield. That's one of the guys that's a truck driver. Nice. Yeah, it's all good again. It's all God again, though, too. Absolutely. I completely agree. Expat for the dodgy. Yeah, I know exactly, dude. It's lame, right? I gotta get a big boy cable. With Gracie being in Thailand, it just makes it better. Absolutely. Up top, honey.
Yeah, of course.
Psh, honey,
It's
psh.
a lot
Honey,
better.
make the sound. Psh. Boom. See? Look at that.
Sorry, my face.
Do you still little Gracie? Do I still like Gracie? Do I still little Gracie? Just have the one Gracie, just the little one, not big, not little, just Gracie.
I didn't understand that, but okay.
What time? Okay, so you haven't eaten yet.
No,
Do you want to have a tuna sandwich?
you want? We had that yesterday.
I know, but I like eating. How about peanut butter and jelly?
Mm.
You don't like peanut butter and jelly?
You want?
You like peanut butter and jelly?
You want peanut butter? No, 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 no. What can I make you? Do you want tuna sandwich?
Well, what are you gonna have? Oh, you're gonna have your chicken from last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you eat that. I'll make myself a peanut butter sandwich later.
How can I make that?
You don't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly? Yeah, I could eat.
Now?
Mm.
Okay. It's a peanut butter sandwich.
Peanut butter and jelly.
What is jelly?
Jelly is the red container jam.
Yeah.
It's like the fruit.
Peanut butter?
Yeah.
Where's the peanut butter? Is in the box?
The peanut butter's actually in the fridge. I put it in there because it was getting.
Just one?
Yeah, one's fine. And then, of course, as you guys know, we eat that with sour cream and onion potato chips. Obviously, she found it. Peanut butter, yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We call it peanut butter and jelly, whereas more accurately, it's actually peanut butter and jam, right? Yeah. So there you go. Mojo's fingers getting tired. Yeah. Have the little. Oh, I do. If you guys don't know what this is, talk about Joe making me cry when I was on Bangkok Strange. Stand by. Yeah, okay. I just want it. My little Gracie that Joe got me. Jib made this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Gracie just said thank you, Joe. I wanted to show you guys this. I haven't shown this on Live My Ass Off, have I? So Joe, knowing that I was missing Gracie, reached out to Jib, Dana's wife, and boy, oh boy. Yeah. And she knits. Knit by Jib is her YouTube channel. And as you guys know, if you follow Do More Hike, you know that Knit by Jib is a channel about knitting. And so Joe had Jib make this for me, which is basically a little Gracie. And when I got that, I was very grateful. I had a gratitude attack on the air, for God's sake. So anyway, if you guys are like, Mike, you've never even met Joe. Why do you like him? This and Bit of Honeys. Enough said. I actually had the last Bit of Honey 2 days ago, Joe. I still have some of the Big League Chew. Joe is coming here. Did you hear it? Yeah, Gracie just said, is Joe coming here? I said, absolutely he is. We are waiting. She needs to meet you. This needs to meet you. The Gracie. We call this the Gracie, basically. So the reason I was able to go get it, it sits right underneath my second monitor over on the table. And so basically I have the laptop here and then I have the monitor over there. And this sets like between the bottom of the monitor and the base of the monitor. And it sits there and it looks at me just like this. And it says, bit of honey, bit of honey, bit of honey, bit of honey. Or something else that you might want it to say. It's up to you. But thanks, Joe. You're awesome, dude. If you care, I will take this over $50,000 in buy me a smoothies. So
I just tried this. Maybe there's a poison.
Did you? Okay, nice. She tried it in case there's maybe a poison. Do you like it? You don't like it?
I like the jam, so I'm gonna have.
You like the jam? Okay. That's not bad considering they don't eat sandwiches in the Philippines, just so you know. And so I was like, why would you make a sandwich? It's weird. Why wouldn't you have rice? Oh, hold on. Peanut butter and pineapple jam. Ooh. Peanut butter and God, sorry. Peanut butter and pineapple jam. Mike, what do you always have next to you during your live streams? Pineapple. Milk. Milk, please. I mean, what else do you eat with peanut butter and jelly, right? Pineapple jam. Thank you, Joe. Going on the list. happyfresh.co.th. Next time I make a Happy Fresh order, pineapple jam. Oh, it's happening. Oh, it is in the works. It is in pipeline. I'm going to have pineapple jam. It is currently in pipeline. Oh, that is why you need to carry on. Halloween bags of Bit-O-Honey. Absolutely. Full on. What's that? Okay. I haven't seen more of my hike on a long time for a while. I hope he's well. I saw him pop into Dana's Idea Studio live stream. I want to say, I think it was yesterday that Dana was live, right? In the morning. And then Gracie and I did afternoon. Yeah. So I think I saw him pop in in the morning. I was just over there for a second, and then I had to go get groceries and do some other stuff. But I think I saw him pop in over there. So yeah. He's a nice guy. And I see him on Facebook and his posts and stuff. I mean, his posts are so, the last one I wrote, I just saw it and I just posted and I was just like, man, it's a good life, isn't it? Do you have any idea how much this XLR cable is pissing me off? Oh, God. I should write down chalkboard, grow fingernails at length, attach. Or I've got one on order. I promise it's coming. It just hasn't gotten here yet because I wanted to get a really, really good one, but I didn't want to pay a lot of money for it. So therefore, I ordered it from China. So therefore, ice? Yeah. Nice. I put ice in most drinks that I have, with the exception, of course, of hot coffee. But I also make iced coffee. But I like ice cold milk. How do you get ice cold milk? Put ice in your milk. It's a dick in a box. Put the ice in the milk. Whatever. Yeah, I'm digging it, man. Game changer. Mike, why do you love Gracie so much? Peanut butter and jelly? Because she cooks. You know what's funny? We have, because JC, and I believe the same is the truth with, oh, good job. Okay, so she's having peanut butter and jelly and chicken. So, that's the Filipino version of peanut butter and jelly.
Wow, it's cold in here. Ooh.
No, the lights warm me up. Plus, I'm next to the open window. But yeah, and when I say JC, I'm not talking about Jeremy. JC, as in JC retired cheap.asia. He and his wife, he's the one who cooks. She's Thai, she doesn't cook. Dana and Jib, I believe that Dana is the more common cook. Whereas here, I literally do not cook. I know how to boil water, put pasta in it, and then drain the water, and then pour pasta sauce in there, and then heat it for another 30 seconds. And I know how to make spaghetti. I know how to purchase fried chicken, like the best of them. But I mean, I can function in the kitchen. In other words, if I'm by myself and the only way that I could get food is to actually make it myself, I could. But I do not like to. And so therefore, when she was not here, I think I turned the stove on 3 times over the course of a year. And I think 2 of those times were to make spaghetti. And the third time was... certainly wasn't to cook anything because I didn't have a frying pan until you got here. I think all 3 times were to make spaghetti. Man. So, anyway.
Are you fine with that?
I would have put more peanut butter in there. Like a real thick layer of peanut butter. I know. No. 1, 2, 3. Ha, ha, ha. Well done, dude. I like it. 5, 5, 5. I will send more candy to you and hoping to be there sometime in August to Phuket. Mm.
Candy?
August. Yeah. You want my address? You can send it to Dana's. I just don't know when I'm going to get over there next. I mean, obviously, this Saturday I could go over there, but here's the interesting thing about the toss-up.
What do I like in the US? Candy.
What candy do you like in the U.S.? That's a great question. I don't know. You don't. Every time, like I would get a candy in the U.S., you would be like, "Oh, it's too sweet." Like if I were to order if I were to buy a Snickers bar, you'd be like, "No, too sweet." I don't think you like candy in the U.S. I don't think you like candy. Yeah. So Saturday, yeah, I could go over to Dana's for Bangkok Strange, but here's the thing, right? I've told you guys all the things we need to do, and all of the things we need to do involve being in fairly public areas where even the slightest chance of us possibly having COVID could delay things significantly. Like if all of a sudden we cruise over there and through no fault of his own or Jib's own or their daughter or some delivery guy, we get COVID, they don't, or whatever, we get something like that. And then we try to get into the Philippine embassy, or we try to go to the AMPA, or we try to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or we try to, basically get a piece of paper that says we can get on a plane and go see my parents. All that stuff stops. So unfortunately, I don't think it's too excessive. I think it's a justifiable reason for sadly limiting our interface with other people. Even though arguably those people, the chances of them having COVID are probably quite slim. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence as far as like doing that. And to be fair, if it were that much of a priority, then Dana and I would just simply do it as we have before, which is remotely. There would be half a screen of Dana and half a screen of Mike's. And we don't do that because, again, like he stated, our chemistry is better when we're physically together in his studio. So we wait until that. What do we got going on right now? Payday chocolate code. I love it. Oh, wait, what was this? I can copy almost anything I taste once. Learned to cook because mom was too busy as an OR nurse. Wow. And dad could not cook. Wow, good for you, dude. White Wolf. He says he can copy anything he can taste. The good. That's wow. That's like basically an artist being able to look at a painting and then bam. It's as far as I'm concerned. That's amazing.
It's different taste. There's still a different.
I can't do that.
But I can still, even if I do, it tastes different.
French toast the bread and make a PB and J, then add it to a plate of fried chicken. Oh well, yeah. There's that. Chicken and waffles. If you guys have ever had that, that's always something I've liked. There is a Roscoe's chicken and waffles, obviously Los Angeles, very good food. Not good for you, but good. Can't cook, never learned. I'm right there with you, MetTech. You and I are hanging out, basically sitting here, just politely waiting for Gracie to make us food. That is how the paradigm will work when you show up. You're lazy. You say you're lazy. You're so funny. You cook every night. You're amazing. That's great, man. Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, I will. I'll put it up on the Facebook Messenger after this. Which actually, the after this may be happening here pretty shortly. Have a great night, everyone. I'm going to try and get a couple of hours of sleep, said the man from Florida, where it is 3 a.m. right now, my friend. Yes, get some sleep. You too, Joe. Come on, buddy. I love having you here. Has Gracie saltwater taffy? And just so you know, saltwater taffy does not taste salty. It is basically very chewy candy. No, she has not tried it. I will get her some once we get back to New York. No, we will not go to New York. Once we get back to New England. Weren't the hospitals in Thailand getting Moderna for like 300 baht for a shot? Take 2 shots and 2 weeks between it, but it would not bad except a sore shoulder. But it was not bad except a sore shoulder. So the short answer is I believe that Moderna is now, I know it is now approved by the Thai FDA. As far as when will it show up, I've heard some people say it will show up in August. I do not know the quoted price. However, that would definitely be the one that I would prefer to wait for. And 300 baht is nothing. So I will gladly pay that. and would definitely prefer Moderna. So here's something that I want to share if you guys don't know, that I heard from a doctor that I trust, that I believe has the qualifications, that I believe has been around the medical field long enough. He was on a Zoom call with the Patia Expats Club that they normally would meet once a week on Tuesdays for lunch, but now they have a Zoom call at like 11 a.m. So I attended that. And they bring in speakers of competence. And this guy was a medical professional. He works in the medical field. He's been retired from actual medical practice for the last 20 years. But he's one of these guys that, he retired from like actually practice, like going to a hospital and that sort of thing. But he goes to conferences and he still does his, what do you call it? Not recertifications, but he still goes through the, certifications. Yeah, he earns the points, or he does his, annual update sort of thing to keep his license valid, and he does that thing. And he works with it. So he's retired from doing what he used to be doing, but now basically his job is he works with the government to help them in medical matters. So anyway, this guy, he's qualified, in my belief, based on the data he gave. He gave a little bit of background about what COVID does. He gave a little bit of background about what SARS does, what SARS was, and then how that transposed. And he talked about vaccines. And so the main thing I want you guys to take away from this is that if you get a vaccine now, for example, if we were to go to get Sinovac, if you get that vaccine and you go through, the first and the second shot, he said that as a scenario, if you were to go get Sinovac and then you wanted to get Moderna, because Moderna was now available, let's say in August or September, wait 3 months between your last shot and the next shot. So take that away from you. If you're getting 2 vaccines, make sure between vaccine A and vaccine B and buying a decent XLR cable, there is 3 months of Delta. He said that would be a very, very smart thing to do. Because he said, working with the government, he will actually end up getting the Sinovac shot. But personally and medically and professionally, he's actually going to spend the money and get the Moderna shot once that comes out, because he believes that that is infinitely more effective. And of course, the way that it's designed versus the design of the Sinovac, he believes it to actually have the efficacy that it advertises, meaning north of 90%, close to 96%, versus the lesser one that is Sinovac. But he says it's also, the chances of getting sick from it are very, very slim. Yes, there will be side effects to a very small number of people. So
The one that called you is the same.
what is it?
It doesn't cancel the first one. This is the one that we paid. It's the same item.
Oh, both of them showed up today?
This is the one, I guess, that called you.
Why would he have my number? We ordered it on your Lazada.
It's in your address. Remember?
Oh, and the phone number?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, good. So we got 2 of Gracie's, same thing.
We cancel it, but I guess they don't cancel it.
Oh, okay. That's weird. I thought I did. Oh, well. Yeah, all right. So there you go, guys. With that final word, please, if you do get a shot and then you want to get a second company's vaccine, make sure you wait 3 months. How's that? So with that, it's Mike's. Come on over. Mike's and Gracie's. Mike's and Gracie's from livemyassoff.com. Saying, I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream,
you're doing it wrong.
Love you guys. Talk